Gonna do it like usual, though.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
.66 degrees, partly cloudy, beautiful day for baseball for Ann Arbor at Ray Fisher Stadium. Welcome in, everybody. Zach Linfield on hand with Neal Sinha. So glad to have you along. Michigan coming off a tough weekend against a team that is a mobile fireball right now in Maryland down in College Park. Lots of runs both ways, but all three games going in favor of the Terps. Michigan now squarely out of the Big Ten race at 10-11 in conference. But a rivalry game here today, Neal. It's a great opportunity for them to get back on track for perhaps a postseason run.
Most definitely. And I mean, I think the biggest thing for Michigan right now is that you just got to try to build momentum for the Big Ten tournament. This team is clearly not set up for an NCAA tournament bid right now. And so what you do if you're Eric Bakich is you just do your best to get the momentum going. Beat an in-state rival like Michigan State would certainly help that. And then hope you can just get a run going in the Big Ten tournament. And if that happens, who knows? Maybe they go all the way through and then get an NCAA tournament bid. This will be a very interesting game, though. It's weird because it's just a one-game homestead against Michigan State. No other games left against the Spartans in the regular season here. Of course, these two teams played 3 times earlier this year, with Michigan winning all 3 of them, including an 18-6 drubbing on April 15th. And so Wolverines have to be looking to do the same today.
Let's get to the starting lineups for the Michigan State Spartans here in the top of the first inning. The shortstop, Mitch Jebb, will lead things off. Trent Farquhar from Livingston County, Michigan. He'll bat second, the second baseman. Jack Frank bats third, the right fielder. Casey Mays, the left fielder, bats cleanup. Dylan Kark will bat fifth. He's the third baseman today. Peter Ahn, the Spartan center fielder, is seventh. Brecker, Bradenburg, and Walker will round things out for Michigan State. And they'll face off against the 22-year-old native of Athens, Georgia, Kenneth Jack White, who simply goes by Jack White today, making his second collegiate start. And he'll face off against Mitch Jebb to lead things off for Michigan State.
Yeah, and it'll be very interesting to see how Jack White does. He has just 2 appearances on the season, has only lasted an inning and a third. And so I think the Wolverines have to be looking for more from him. Hopefully, he can last, at least an inning or 2. We'll see what happens, though.
Mitch Jebb, by far the best batter in the Spartan lineup, a .351 batting average. Jack White, the lefty, delivers pitch number 1. And we're underway from Ann Arbor, with it being just below the strike zone.
Yeah, and the biggest thing when you have such a few amount of pitches thrown and innings pitched on a season is you just want to get it going early, stay consistent, and then over time that'll build up.
There's strike 1 low in the zone. Jack White does not throw the ball all that hard. Fastball will sit somewhere around the high 80s. Michigan slightly shifts on the left-handed batter, Jebb. Lefty on lefty. The beautiful crowd on hand here today for Michigan State. Slider misses away. It's 78 miles an hour, 2-1 to Mitch Jebb.
I was just going to say, it's a perfect day for baseball here in Ann Arbor. Quite a few fans showing up to this game. Just a great atmosphere.
There was lots of fans, too, when Michigan traveled out to Lansing. Lots of Michigan fans. Line drive into right center field. This is going to be extra bases for Mitch Jebb. Takes a hard round across first. He'll get to second. He's going to try for 3. The relay to Burton comes in. The throw of the Frye at third base, not in time. It's a leadoff triple for Mitch Jebb. And Michigan State is well underway here in the first.
Yeah, and not what you want to see if you're the Wolverines. Obviously, leadoff triple does not feel good, but I think that's the best player on Michigan State's batting lineup right there, Mitch Jebb. I mean, averages .351 on the year, a slugging percentage of .507. He is a big hitter. Michigan got him out of the way now. You just got to hope for 3 straight outs right here.
Trent Farquhar is next for MSU. We'll see Jack White from the stretch. Short leadoff for Jebb at third. First pitch to him is a ground ball right side base hit. Michigan State will lead 1-0. First pitch swinging goes Trent Farquhar, and he's got RBI number 24 on the season.
Yeah, and a tough little roller right by Ted Burton there on first base. He looked like he was playing a little bit too close to the bag. I don't know if that's what Eric Bakich wanted, but nonetheless, Michigan State already is on the board here. This is where Jack White has to calm himself and just stay level-headed, because you still have 3 outs to go here just to get out of the inning.
White pitched against Wright State last Wednesday, so it's been 6 days since his last start. He allowed a leadoff home run to Julian Greenwell against the Raiders. Now a leadoff triple here today. Here's Jack Frank, who looks at ball one, low and outside. 85 miles an hour on the fastball now. It was a little bit faster to start the game last week, but he looked to be overthrowing just a bit. Michigan, they already have some action down in their bullpen. This is fully expected. A sharp ground ball is foul down the third base line. Matt Frye nowhere close to third base.
Yeah, and Jack Frank leads the strikeouts for Michigan State. So this is where Jack White's got to be thinking, just get a quick out. Worst case, maybe he makes contact and you get a little double play going.
A ball and a strike to Jack Frank. Michigan's defense plays relatively straight up. Frye playing in on the grass. Slider just off the plate. Drawing a couple of come-ons already from the Michigan crowd. Umpires today behind the plate. Sal Giacomintinio is the home plate umpire. Thomas Burrell Jr. at first. Mark Hannawald at second. Aaron Woodbury is over at third. 2-1 from Jack White. Way inside. Got a piece of Frank. And with still no outs, runners on first and second base. MSU leads 1-0.
Yeah, and just a nightmare start now for Jack White. You got to think the bullpen call will come up soon now. I mean, already 1 run given up. Now you have 2 more on base. He's just got to try to get an out. I mean, that's all you can hope for at this point.
That will bring up Casey Mays. 2 for 12 in the series against Iowa this past weekend. Scored 2 runs in the Sunday game, but he punched out 4 times in the 3-game set. Slider gets way away from Casey Buckley behind the plate. Runners advance to second and third now. Wild pitch.
Wow. I mean, this is just everything is going Michigan State's way, or you should say maybe against Jack White. Eric Bakich is coming out right now.
When Eric Bakich comes out, that almost immediately means a pitching change. As Steve Merriman, the pitching coach, a lot of the time will make the first mound visit. Bakich takes a quick look out towards the dugout, but you're right, Neil. This is a nightmare start for Jack White. A leadoff triple, a single on the first pitch to Trent Farquhar, and then a hit by pitch. And a 2-1 count to Jack Frank, and then a wild pitch to cap things off. And right now, he's not taking the ball away from Jack White. But Michigan, who's really struggled as of late, they need a game to go their way, and they already got 2 arms getting loose down in the bullpen. So you'd figure it's only a matter of time before Eric Bakich decides to take Jack out of the game if he can't get a couple of outs here in the first inning.
Yeah, and listen, Jack White has always been a guy who's not going to pitch too long into games. You know, last year he had just 9 appearances, just 16 innings pitched. So he doesn't last very long. But, man, it has just been a difficult start to this year. He's dealt with arm issues, but he just hasn't been able to get anything going. And Eric Bakich right now is putting his confidence in him to just try to get an out or 2 to help the team.
It's 1-0 to Casey Mays, who saw that wild pitch go by him to advance the runners to second and third. 1-0 to him, sword swing for strike 1. Man, did he get away with one there.
Yeah, and this is where I think Casey Mays just gets the green light. Just go distance, go as far as you can. It's not really as much a sac fly type situation. That'll usually happen more when there's 1 or 2 outs here.
1-1 coming from White. Lifted in the air, right field. That ball's back toward the track, and it's off the wall on 1 hop. Into right center field. 1 run comes around to score. Here comes Frank. He'll score. And standing up over at third base is Casey Mays. A throw goes over the head of Matt Frye at third. And Michigan State has piled it on now. Coming home on a throwing error will be Casey Mays, as the third base umpire, Aaron Woodbury, says that ball went out of play. Michigan State has a 4-0 lead through 4 batters here in the first. Wow.
And it just wasn't needed. The cutoff throw from Ted Burton was not needed to the third baseman, Matt Frye, right there. There was no need for it. Mays had already reached third base. I don't understand that throw. And then, like you said, Zach, it goes out of bounds. I'm shocked that Jack White is still in this game.
Here's Dylan Kark now. 4-0 Michigan State, no outs in the first. 0-1 way above the strike zone changeup from Jack White. And just what a nightmare of a start here in the first inning. So it's a triple for Casey Mays. 2 triples here in the first inning. He scores on an error by Ted Burton. Second pitch called strike low in the strike zone, 1-1.
There we go. A little speed on that two-seamer. It looked like 86 miles an hour. Just hope that he can get a rhythm going here.
A ball and a strike, 262 average for Kark. Way inside, almost got a piece of him. He's already hit one batter in this inning, Jack Frank on the elbow. And this is a very left-handed heavy lineup for Michigan State. Their first 4 batters are lefties, then it goes right, then lefty, right, lefty, right. 2-1. Bouncing ball towards Frye at third. Plays it on a backhand, long throw to first, and there's the first out of the first inning. Bit of a Yankee Bronx cheer from the fans here in Ann Arbor.
Yeah, a little tough pickup there by Frye, but able to make the pass in time, and Jack White gets an out. So now you just hope you can get out of the inning.
And that's a start.
Yeah, they needed that, that's for sure. But yeah, like I said, you just hope you can get out of the inning, and then you just rely on your batters to get you back in this.
And it was expected that Jack White was only going to go 1 to 2 innings in this game, and I'm pretty positive 1 inning will probably be where it caps off if he can get through this. You got to hope he'll get through Peter Ahn and Brian Brecker here. 1 gone, 4-0 Michigan State here in the first. Triple, single, hit by pitch, triple, and now ground out. Big swing and a miss, 1-1 to Peter Ahn. 234 batting average, no power really for Peter Ahn. Lots of speed though, 12 doubles, 3 triples, 18 RBIs on the season. Standing straight up in the left-handed batter's box, arms slightly above the shoulder. Another wave and a miss on a slider outside. Nice pitch though from Jack White.
Yeah, I think I go a little fastball right up the middle right here. Like you said, Ahn has yet to get a homer this year. You don't have to really worry about the power. You're just going for outs at this point.
The 1-2. Outside fastball is fouled away. Michigan slightly shifts on Peter Ahn towards the right side. Matt Frye is about 5 strides from where the shortstop would usually be positioned. Shortstop Bertram is right behind second base. Got him looking. First strikeout of the game for Jack White, and the second out here of the first inning.
There we go. That's big time right there. You got to give Jack White some credit. I mean, an awful first 3 batters that he faced, but he's been able to fight back a little bit. You have 2 outs down. Just got to try to get the last one now.
Now here's Brian Brecker, the MSU catcher. He was 3 of 9 in the series against Iowa this past weekend. Michigan State won 2 of 3. He takes strike 1. Now he's pretty much used the breaking ball primarily in these last 2 batters. That was another one, just a hair under 80 miles an hour from Jack White. Here's the 0-1. Goes outside. Buckley unable to handle it. Probably would have had a better chance at being called a strike if Buckley was able to corral that one. He's sitting on the inside half of the plate right now. It looked like that might have gotten the outside corner if he was able to glove it. 1-1. That one is way off the plate. 2-1.
Yeah, and Brecker, pretty solid stat line for considering that he's a freshman. On base percentage of 364, that is pretty solid to go along with his batting average of 273. We'll see if he can make something happen right here.
2-1 pitch, fouled back to the screen. Evens up the count at 2-2. Although Brecker 3 of 9 in that Iowa series, he had 2 RBIs on Sunday along with the double, but he was hit by the pitch twice in the Saturday game. MSU won the series capper on Sunday to avoid the sweep. Tough weekend for both Michigan teams, going a combined 1 of 5. Soft ground ball, left side for Frye. Plays it on a scoop, long throw to first. And that is the end of the top of the first inning. A nightmare start for Jack White on the hill, but he settles down after allowing 4 first inning runs for MSU. It's a 4-0 Spartan lead as we head to the bottom of the first here in Ann Arbor. 4-0 lead for Michigan State after the top of the first inning here from Ray Fisher Stadium in Ann Arbor. The Wolverines are ready to face off against the 18-year-old native of Saline, Michigan, right out of the backyard of the Wolverines. It's Aiden Arball. He'll face off against Clark Elliott, Joe Stewart, and Matt Frye here in the first. The rest of the Michigan order goes Jimmy Obertop, the DH today, bats fourth. Tito Flores is fifth. Riley Bertram bats sixth. Ted Burton is seventh. Jake Marty plays first base and bats eighth. And then Casey Buckley to round things out for the 10th year head man, Eric Bakich.
Yeah, Michigan's got to be looking for a lot of firepower right out of the gates here at the bottom of the first. They're down 4-0 due to that unfortunate pitching debut or showing by Jack White.
Clark Elliott to lead things off. He takes strike one from the left-hander Arball. Michigan had a lot of luck early in the game against Wright State last Wednesday. 6 runs in the first, 2 runs in the second, and then a 10 spot in the third. Elliott takes ball one below the strike zone, a little bit faster out of the arm from Arball compared to Michigan's Jack White. Still high 80s, but with a little more movement and tail from the left-hander. 1-1. Off the plate, 2-1 now to Clark Elliott.
Yeah, for the Wolverines, I mean, obviously at top of the batting order is the strongest suit, but when you have guys averaging 347, 333, 296, like Clark Elliott, Joe Stewart, Matt Frye are, they're sitting pretty.
2-1 hard on the ground. Nice play by Farquhar. He dives out for it, makes the throw to first. What a play by the Michigan State second baseman. No wonder why he got all Big Ten preseason honors before this year. One-time transfer from Bowling Green before the Falcons decided to cancel their baseball program, and he's now found a home in East Lansing. And speaking of home in East Lansing, here's Joe Stewart. Spent 5 years at Michigan State, graduate transfer here to Michigan. First pitch way outside.
Yeah, and the Spartan fielders check their cards right there. They're opening up the middle a little bit for Joe Stewart. He's got to be looking to go right above the pitcher's head.
Sharp ground ball left side. It's a foul ball by just inches. Takes a ricochet into left where Mays is. On is the center fielder. Frank is the right fielder. On the infield, Kark at third, Jeb at shortstop. Just mentioned Farquhar over at second. Vradenburg is at first, and Brian Brecker catches the balls and strikes today from Aiden Arball. The 1-1 to Joe Stewart, way above the strike zone for ball two. First 4 seasons at MSU, Neal. Less than 30 combined at-bats. Gets a chance in his graduate year as a Spartan. Leads the team in extra base hits. So a hidden gem for Michigan State. And Michigan gets him, and he's been fantastic for him. Hitting every 3 at-bats, as the average shows. He takes a ball above the strike zone, 3-1, as here comes Arball with that pitch. Way outside, ball 4. Michigan has their first base runner on today.
Certainly, and I mean, with that walk right there, his on-base percentage is almost, what, 400 now. So Joe Stewart has been fantastic. Like I said, the first 3 hitters, or 3 to 5 hitters for Michigan are just fantastic when you look at their stat lines. The issue for the Wolverines has, and so far today has proven to be true, it's just been the pitching a little bit. They've been struggling with that. The bottom of their lineup has also been a little bit tough with guys like Casey Buckley and Jake Marty, but we'll see if they can get it going right now.
Here's Matt Frye. First pitch to him, low and outside. Just missing the strike zone, a full shift on Frye. 3 infielders to the right side of the field, and Dylan Kark is left all alone at third. Outfielders play straight up, but really deep, almost as far as you'll see the outfielders play. Sharp ground ball foul back towards Brandon Inge at first base.
Yeah, and the Spartans right here with Aiden Arball, they're probably hoping for at least about 3 innings, maybe even 4 today. But he's been solid this year. ERA of 6.27, 1-0 record.
Joe Stewart on the move, fouled out of play back towards Yost Ice Arena. A 1-2 count to Matt Frye. His average has been something like a roller coaster this year, going up and down in the 200s. Was down to 268 2 weekends ago against Indiana, and now is 1 hit away from being back to 300. A ball and 2 strikes. The pitch from Arball. Line into left center field. That'll get down. Joe Stewart will advance all the way to third as he gets to the wall. The left fielder Mays is on it. Schnabel will send Joe Stewart home, and he will reach there standing up. It's a stand-up double for Matt Frye, and Michigan has now cut the lead to 4-1.
And that's the beauty of this Michigan team. That's the beauty of college baseball, that you can get down 4-0 in the first and still be feeling like you're in a perfect place. Michigan has power hitters in this lineup, and like we said, it's the first about 5-ish hitters for the Wolverines that can really hit it, and Frye showed it off right there after Joe Stewart does what he does best, which is get on base. And now here are the Wolverines. They got to hope to capitalize, get Frye in. On the other side for Aiden Arbaugh and the Spartans, you have to try to strand the Michigan runner, Matt Frye, and just keep this at a 4-1 game.
Here is the everyday catcher who's not so everyday today, Jimmy Obertop. He's the DH for the Wolverines. Tito Flores on deck. 3 of 10 in the series down in College Park for Obertop. Had a double in the game on Saturday, drove in 3 runs. 266 on the batting average for Jimmy. He looks at ball 1 outside after taking strike 1 on the previous pitch. Remember, Michigan and Michigan State have faced off this year. This is one of those odd midweek matchups. This will usually happen between these two schools just due to the location and the distance between the two campuses. Arbaugh staring back at Frye, delivers home the 1-1, low and outside 2-1. Michigan took all 3 games in that series in Lansing. They played 2 at McLean Stadium, which is where the Spartans' home park is, but they also played 1 at Jackson Field, the home of the High A affiliate of now the Oakland Athletics, used to be the Toronto Blue Jays. Michigan won that first game 18-6. Line drive into right field. That's down in front of the right fielder Frank. Frye will be held up at third by Nick Schnabel, and that is a single to put runners on the corners for Jimmy Obertop with 1 gone in the first.
A smart decision by Jack Frank in fielding that right there in right field, because at first he hesitated. It looked like he was going to go after that ball. Instead decided to just play it smart and sit back and wait for it to come to him. And so now Michigan, runners at the corners. You got to be feeling good. You have a guy in Tito Flores who has been very, very solid at the cleanup spot for the Wolverines all year long.
Tito has been scorching hot up until Sunday. He had a 19-game on-base streak snapped just 2 days ago down in Maryland. First pitch from Arbaugh way outside. That's a changeup that gripped just a little bit too hard from Aiden Arbaugh. He let it go too early. 1-0 to Tito Flores. Frye would score on anything pretty much to the outfield, with the outfielders playing that deep. 1-0, line drive into left, and it's down. Obertop will remain at second. Coming home to score is Matt Frye. The lead is now cut in half here in the first.
Big time for Tito Flores. Wolverines just like that. I mean, right back in the game. You know, you knew that obviously it was a horrible start for Jack White, but he was able to fight. He only limited it to 4, which still not good at all, certainly in the first inning. But he gave the Wolverines a chance because they know the power hitters that they have. And so this makes for a very, very good remaining 8 innings and, I mean, remaining first inning here as the Spartans are talking to Arbaugh at the mound.
It's not the coach that's out there. It's just the middle infielders Mitch Jebb and Trent Farquhar, along with the catcher Brian Brecker. Here comes Riley Bertram. We don't get to see him bat from the right side a lot. The only switch hitter in the order for the Wolverines. But we'll see him bat from the right side here, as Michigan State knows to shift on him when batting right, but not shift when batting left. 3 infielders on the left side of the infield, 1 on the right. With 1 gone here in bottom 1. First pitch called strike outside half.
Yeah, a little top corner action right there. Zach, let me ask you a question though. With the shift going away in the MLB, what's your opinion on that? I feel like everybody has an opinion on it. I feel like most probably don't like it, but what do you think about that?
Don't like it going away?
Do you like the shift or not, I guess?
I think if you're a traditionalist, as Bertram looks at a ball in the dirt 1-1, if you're a traditionalist and you like the game being as traditional as possible, I think you like taking the shift away. Now, I'm more of a traditionalist in the sense of baseball. Now, I like it being modern, but you see batting averages drop for dead pull guys a lot of the time, especially in the major leagues. and it gives them less of a chance to obviously get on base. Bertram line drive left side, just foul. Oh, man. But it does take away from a lot of guys that are dead pull hitters, and you'll see their average go back up. Now, it's not going to be a major change in their batting average, but it will be noticeable at some point, because if you only have 2 guys on the right side of the infield, obviously it's going to be a lot harder to play them defensively. Look at a guy like Austin Meadows, who plays for the Tigers. You put 3 guys on the right side of the infield, he hits sharp ground balls, and the second baseman, who's playing 50 feet to 100 feet in front of the right fielder, he's going to make that play a lot of the time at first base, and that just won't happen anymore. A ball and 2 strikes to Riley Bertram. Ball in the dirt. Overtop takes a large stance over at second base, but returns. 2-2. Runners on first and second. 1 out here in the Michigan first. 4-2 Michigan State.
Yeah, and I think it's such an interesting topic too, just because baseball is so different from most sports. Shift is something that I guess in most other sports you would consider it as just a strategy, but it's interesting that in baseball that you can really control that, and obviously that's what the new rule would do. I personally, I don't mind them getting rid of the rule, or getting rid of the shift, I should say. Yeah, but I don't know. I've always been curious about it, because I kind of do think if you're a puller, or if you slice it off to the right, you just got to learn to be a better hitter. But maybe that's just me.
Here's the payoff pitch upcoming to Riley Bertram. Big one here, missed way outside. Bases are now loaded. That wasn't even close from Aiden Arball.
Yeah, and Arball looks to be struggling a little bit with his command. That series right there, pitches were pretty haywire. And Michigan now all on base with number 3, Ted Burton, coming up. Have to be feeling good.
Here comes the pitching coach for Michigan State, Mark Van Ameed. We'll have a quick conversation with Aiden Arball. And it looks like Michigan State very early here is going to go to the bullpen. They lead it 4-2. Aiden Arball will wait for the new pitcher to come in. Bases will be loaded when we return for Ted Burton and the Wolverines. It's 4-2 Michigan State here in the first. Michigan State turns to their second arm of the game with the bases loaded here in the bottom of the first inning. 4-2 Michigan State after their big first inning. It's Dominic Pianto, the 18-year-old native of Hendersonville, Tennessee, 6'2", 177 pounds. The redshirt freshman will be set off to face Ted Burton.
Yeah, and Pianto with a 7.0 ERA so far this year. He has 9 appearances on 18 innings pitched. An opposing batting average of .321, so not too great, but the Spartans right now at this point in the game are just hoping to get a good inning or 2 out of him. They're hoping for much more from Aiden Arball, but the Wolverines hitters have made his life extremely difficult.
Michigan State will play this in a unique way. The first baseman, Bradenburg, plays in on the grass. But the three infielders on the left side, Kark, Jeb, and Farquhar, all play deep and shift Ted Burton just a tad. First pitch to Burton, breaking ball that misses high and inside. Ted's seen his average steadily fall down now. It's down to 253. The one-time three-hole hitter for Michigan has now found a home in the bottom of the order, but you can't take him out because of his defense. And of course, he made a tough error in the first. 1-0 called strike. Ted Burton dislikes that call from Sal Giacomintonio.
I like that little nod from Burton of, okay, don't agree with it, but okay.
9 home runs on the season for Ted. He had a homer in the series against Maryland, the 1-1. Big swing and a miss, 1-2.
Yeah, and a lot of swing and misses from Ted Burton so far this season. He has 56 strikeouts. It's been a common theme with this Michigan team. They do, hit it far and hit it a lot, but when they don't, they're not really making contact.
Had a tough game on Friday 2 weekends ago against Indiana with 3 backwards Ks. Just was not seeing the ball well. The 1-2, line drive up the middle base hit. In to score is Overtop. Around the score comes Flores. It's misplayed in center field by On. We've got a tie game, and sliding in safe at third base is Riley Bertram. It's a tie game here in the first. How about that, Neal?
Wow. I mean, who could have seen that coming? 4-0 down after the top of the first. A tough showing for Jack White, and Michigan just responds. I mean, what a great response by these Wolverines. We said at the top of the broadcast that these batters can hit, and they certainly have done that. They've got Michigan all the way back in this thing, and now Michigan State's the one with the pressure completely on them. They're just hoping to get out of the inning at this point.
Here is Jake Marty. His average reads a lowly 156, but not too many plate appearances on the year. Started his first full series of the season against Maryland this past weekend. Went 2 of 11 and hit his first homer on the season on Friday.
And this is where the Spartans have to be thinking or looking for their 2 outs to get out of this inning, with Marty and Casey Buckley clearly the 2 worst hitters of the batting order for Michigan.
Called strike 1, counts now even at 1-1. Now, Jake Marty is almost by far the best bunter on the team. So if they wanted to go safety squeeze here, Riley Bertram's got speed over at third base. Corner infielders play in, middle infielders play back. Marty will swing away. Ball outside, 2-1. What a first inning for Michigan. Their best hitter, Clark Elliott, grounds out on a diving play by Trent Farquhar at second base. Joe Stewart walks, Frye doubles, Obertop singles, Flores singles, Bertram walks, and then a single by Ted Burton as Marty fouls it away, 2-2.
Yeah, good job by Marty right there, rising pitch from Pianto, and he's able to make some contact with it, stay alive here.
4-4 here in the first inning. You'd think that we're halfway through this one. 2-2 pitch, bouncing ball, right side, that'll score the run. Tough play for Farquhar, throws the first, got the out. 2 outs in the inning, but Michigan storms back to take a 5-4 lead here in the first inning. How about that?
And I was thinking when they got down 4-0 that this is a Michigan State team that gives up runs. I mean, Michigan in the 3 games that they had them in that series earlier in April, that was quite evident. The Wolverines scored 18 on them in the first meeting. They scored 8 in the next one and then 6 in the one after that. This is a Spartans team that gives up runs. So Michigan was always going to be in this game, but just shocking to see 5 runs here in the first inning by the Wolverines.
Here's Casey Buckley, the Wolverine catcher, played straight up by the Spartan defense. Fouled back to the screen, a big hack for strike number 1. Michigan, it was their most runs scored in a series this season. That was against MSU back in mid-April. They won game 1, 18-6, game 2, 8-2, game 3, 6-3, 32 runs overall. The left-handed hitter Buckley against the right-hander Pianto. The 0-1 in the dirt, 1-1.
Yeah, I think Buckley can be pretty aggressive right here, swinging, just because, there's 2 outs on the board. You got the lead back for Michigan. And at this point, you're just trying to drive home Ted Burton.
1-1's way off the plate, 2-1. It's been a lot of the same thing that we've seen from Michigan State that we saw from Indiana in the series here 2 weekends ago, where Indiana they were not throwing competitive pitches whatsoever. Like, that last pitch is not competitive, nowhere close to the strike zone. It doesn't make the batter think about it. Same with that one, way high and outside. And it makes the job very easy for the home plate umpire, Sal Giacomo-Antonio. You don't have to make a call because it's nowhere close to the strike zone. 3 balls, 1 strike now to Casey Buckley. He looks to drive in just his 6th RBI on the season. Called strike right down Broadway.
Yeah, and that's one that I definitely think back. It's just saying you got to swing at that, even if it's 3-1. I think you have the green light. Listen, Michigan's had a successful inning of batting here. They were not expecting to be leading after the first, which they will be. And so I think if you're Buckley, you just swing and hope, you know, and just try to bring Ted Burton home.
3-2, sharp line drive fouled back towards the Spartan bullpen. I mean, what a first inning we've had here. 7 combined hits, 1 error on both teams. And Michigan leads 5-4.
Yeah, it makes you think, you know, what are we in store for the rest of this game? I mean, already 9 runs scored in the first inning. I mean, is this going to be a 40-35 type of game? I mean,
a football game here. 3-2.
Yeah.
Lifted in the air behind home plate. Brecker will not even chase. Clark Elliott, the best bat for Michigan, is on deck. He was out number 1 out of the leadoff spot. But I'll tell you what, this long first inning for Michigan has been good for them also in a sense, besides just the score. It's given the bullpen an extra chance to get loose. 3-2. Ball 4.
Wow.
Just low and inside. I mean, just low and inside.
Yeah, Pianto thought he had him right there. But instead, Buckley gets to the base, and now Michigan with runners at the corners again. And now you have Clark Elliott coming back up to bat. I mean, this is a brutal, brutal start here for the Spartans. And this is why, by the way. We called it a
nightmare for Michigan.
Oh,
what is this for Michigan State?
This is
sleep paralysis.
Yeah, this is sleep paralysis. Maybe you're stuck in a coma. I mean, you know, this is just bad for Michigan State. And I was just gonna say, this is why it's so important, even if you struggle in an inning, like Jack White did, to just get out of the inning on your own. He was not pretty in the top of the first, as it's a ball first pitch there to Clark Elliott, but he wasn't pretty in the top of the first. But you know what? He was able to eventually get out of the inning. Michigan saves their bullpen arms, and then he allows the batters to come up and make a difference here.
1-0 pitch taken low and outside. So now he's got to come to Clark Elliott, who can put a dent in a ball if you leave a mistake across the plate. Jake Keyser is the arm getting loose for the Wolverines. He can go quite a while if needed. He throws a lot of strikes. And a youngster from Orchard Lake St. Mary's, the 2-0. Lifted in the air right field. That ball's back. Got a chance, and it's off the wall. Elliott rounds first. He'll make it to second. Burton scores. Casey Buckley is held up at third, and the Wolverines have extended their lead 6-4.
Yeah, and yeah, this has reached coma territory. This isn't just paralysis at this point for Michigan State. I mean, at what point do you start considering a new pitching change? I mean, I understand that they're just an out away, but this is not pretty now. And now you're facing the meat of the Michigan lineup once again with Joe Stewart coming up and then Matt Frye. Spartans, they're just hoping to get one more out.
I mean, you've just got to think, too, these are always revenge at bats for Joe Stewart. He is looking to take a ball out of the park. First pitch, bouncing ball up the middle. That'll score 2 runs. Buckley comes home. Here comes Clark Elliott. Joe Stewart advancing to second base. Is he going to get there in time? He's sliding safe. How about that?
I'm not sure I like that call by the first base coach for Michigan.
Brandon Inge takes all the chances.
Yeah, no kidding, but just that was a risky call when you're up 6-4 already and you have 2 runs coming in to tell the guy to go to second, but it works out. Joe Stewart gives a little celebration right after, and this inning continues. I mean, if you see an 8-4 scoreline, you think at best that's the 7th or 8th inning, but my good folks, we're just in the first. We have a long way to go.
Basketball score.
Yeah.
Here's Matt Frye. He had the first hit of the game for Michigan, which drove in Joe Stewart. And that seemed like it was 10 innings ago. Well, that was this inning. 2 outs, 8-4 Michigan. First pitch gets a piece of Matt Frye. He flips that bat towards first base, or excuse me, the Michigan dugout. He heads down to first base, and here comes Jimmy Overtop. Trent Farquhar, the Spartan second baseman, smartly goes to have a chat with Dominic Pianto.
And I think the Spartans they're now getting a little movement going in the bullpen. You had to see that one coming, but yeah, I mean, they are just in a tough position. Both Arbaugh and Pianto have just really struggled with their control so far. And now you still have Jimmy Overtop coming up, and then after that you have Tito Flores. I mean, it's difficult to get by these first 5 hitters for the Wolverines. But Pianto will stay in the game for now.
3 extra base hits, 4 walks. 8 runs for Michigan. Jimmy Overtop, a lot of power out of the right-handed batter's box. He's 1 for 1 today. First pitch, breaking ball called strike 1. Man.
I mean, and I think it's gotten to the point with the control of the pitches right now for Michigan State that it doesn't even matter if you hang one over the middle. You just try to get strikes. I mean, you know, worse, or maybe even Michigan just creates contact and you get a ground out or a fly out, who knows. But, and there you go. It looks like what Pianto is doing now.
Called strike 2, low in the zone at 84. That goes back to what I feel like I was saying earlier in this inning, is that at one point they were just not throwing competitive pitches at all. They were missing really badly. And now that the pitchers are slowing down those pitches just a tad and they're leaving them over the plate, Michigan has really taken advantage with the bats. In front of Brecker, nice stop behind home plate, 1-2.
Yeah, great block there by Brecker so that Pianto doesn't have to see Ted Burton or a Wolverine on third base, because that is not a good feeling when you've already given up, how many has Pianto given up here? 6? 4, 5, 6?
3 earned runs from Pianto.
3, okay, there you go.
Other 5 all tapped to the starter, Aiden Arbaugh. The 1-2. Bouncing ball up the middle, that'll score the run. Here comes Joe Stewart around third. Stopping at second is Matt Frye, and the carousel continues for the Wolverines. Jimmy Overtop is 2 for 2. Man, oh man.
It's just Groundhog Day at this point for Michigan State. I mean, they just cannot get out of this first inning. This is unbelievable. And I think the worst part is for the Spartans, I'm not even sure that it's great hitting by Michigan right now. They're leaving some pitches over the plate, which I just said, to be fair. At this point in the inning, you kind of have to do just to try to get out of it. But the control has just been so bad that they haven't been able to be aggressive with the pitches.
And that's a 1-2 count and a hanging changeup right over the middle of the plate that Jimmy Overtop takes advantage of. Here's Tito Flores now. Ball 1. As Brecker had to go into the dirt to snatch that one up. Michigan's largest inning of the season was the 3rd inning last Wednesday against Wright State, where they scored 10.
Well, it's approaching that point right now.
And their largest first inning score of the season was 6 last week against Wright State on Wednesday. 1-0, fouled away. Oh man, Tito Flores took a hack at that pitch, and instead it'll just dent a car down the right field line.
Yeah, and I think, you know, it's one thing to score runs like that against a team like Wright State. It's another to do it against a Big Ten team like Michigan State. And I know that they've struggled this season. I know that they are they're just 7-14 in conference, but they are around 500 on the overall season. This is just tough to watch, though, if you're a Michigan State fan.
The 1-1. Flores just lays off. Man, did he want to be aggressive on that 84-mile-an-hour fastball that just looked like a balloon coming through the zone, but that high Flores lays off, and maybe he'll wait for another better pitch to swing at. 2-1. I mean, what a start to this game for both sides, at the plate at least.
Yeah, I mean, if you had told me that after Jack White puts the Wolverines down 4-0 that they would come out of the inning up, I would have said probably no way. But then if you had told me that they'd score 9 runs then in the first inning and have a 5-run lead right now, I mean, I would have said no way, like at all. I mean, that's impossible, but here we are.
2-1. Lifted in the air center field. This should be playable for On. He comes on, takes some strides towards the block M in center field, and wow. Michigan leads 9-4. That's going to be the longest inning of the season for the Wolverines. They somehow take a 5-run lead into the top of the second. You're listening to Michigan Baseball on WCBN Sports Radio. Welcome back into Ann Arbor. 9-4 is the lead for the Wolverines, and you'd think we're halfway through this one. No, we're just past the first inning, top of the second. Michigan will have John Torowella throw now, the 20-year-old native of Ellicott City, Maryland, 6'4", 205-pound junior, making his first appearance on the season. Brock Vradenburg is the first bat for Michigan State. He lifts one into left field. Over is Flores, drifting towards foul territory. He runs into the wall and makes the catch.
Nice grab right there. And yet Torowella, I mean, there's just nothing on him. Frankly, for the Wolverines, this is his debut as a Michigan Wolverine. He went to Brown briefly in 2020 as a freshman. He appeared in 3 games, had a 10.24 ERA, pitched 9 innings there. And then he did not play in the 2021 season. He did play in the Collegiate Summer League and the Northwood League for the Kalamazoo Growlers, in which he had 15 innings pitched off of 6 appearances and a 3.6 ERA, excuse me.
Zaid Walker, the Spartan DH, with 1 gone here in the second. 196 average for Zaid. He takes ball 2 above the strike zone.
And you got to think that this was Eric Bakic's plan, just because they don't usually switch up, you know, who comes in for the bullpen just because of how the game script is going like that. But they did have a long first inning.
Ooh, big swing and a miss way above the strike zone. Zaid Walker goes fishing.
They did have a long first inning to see for the batting, and so you kind of have to think maybe this was the perfect situation for Torowella. Of you're up 5 after the first inning, and your batters have been doing really well. Michigan State has been dealing with control issues of their pitching staff, and so maybe a strategic play by Eric Bakic.
2-2 now as Walker fouls it back at Buckley. Sal Giacomintonio, the home plate umpire, will give Casey a moment to breathe. Count is now even at 2-2. Torowella with the 2-2. Curveball got him swinged. What a beautiful pitch from Torowella. And that's his first strikeout as a Michigan Wolverine. Save the ball.
Yeah, that was nice there for Torowella. Started at the middle left side of the zone and then comes all the way back to the inside. Nice little pitch, and the Wolverines already have 2 outs here. Trying to speed up this game a little bit after that first 45
minutes in the first inning. Here's Mitch Jebb. First pitch to him is way high and outside. He led off this game with a triple and scored on the Trent Farquhar single in the next at-bat. The 1-0. Fastball coming in there, grooving in the high 80s. It sounds nice. 2-0 now. Works out of the windup, holds the light blue glove at the belt, brings it over top of his head, taps that glove one more time, delivers home, ball 3.
Yeah, Jebb was where the issues first started for the Michigan Wolverines in the first inning. Jebb was able to get on base with a triple to lead it off for the Spartans, and then from there they were able to get 4 runs on Jack White. So Michigan hoping to just get by him right here. Instead, it'll be a walk.
All 4 pitches missed way above the strike zone.
That's encouraging, though, when it's all in the same spot of the same pitch. You know that's something that you can tweak a little bit just to get down. And I mean, he's looked solid so far. Just 10 pitches thrown, and Michigan has 2 outs, just one runner given here for the Wolverines.
The book is officially closed on Jack White. 1 inning pitched, 3 hits, 4 earned runs. Hit 1 batter, struck out 1. Big wave and a miss from Trent Farquhar, who singled home Jebb in the first. That just seems like forever ago. Well, it was over 50 minutes ago, but it was just an inning ago.
I was just going to say, yeah, it was a pretty long time ago, but here we are just in the top of the second.
The 0-1. Strike
nice
2 outside
pitch.
corner. Nice, beautiful placement from John Torowella.
Yeah, and it looks like he's playing, he's pitching right now to try to pitch in the 3rd inning, too. He's looked very, very good so far.
Walker Cleveland is getting loose, just throwing weighted balls, though. The 0-2. Curveball called strike 3. Oh, man, what a beautiful arcing curveball from Torowella. He gives the Wolverines a fist pump back towards the third base dugout. And let's head to the bottom of the 2nd inning. This inning perhaps maybe a little bit quicker than the first. It's 9-4 Wolverines from WCBN Sports. Dominic Pianto is out there for the bottom of the 2nd inning. He'll face off against Riley Bertram. Leading things off, Ted Burton will be next for the Wolverines, and a 9-4 Michigan lead after John Torowella, Neal, threw a really nice top of the 2nd inning.
Yep, and I mean, Wolverines just hoping to keep it rolling here. For Michigan State, they have to be happy that they're not facing the tougher part of the lineup.
Fouled away off the end of the bat for Riley Bertram, left side. 0-1.
Yeah, as you start off with the 6, 7, and 8 hitters for the Wolverines, the Bertram, Burton, and Marty. Definitely not the strong point of the Michigan lineup. So Spartans have to be hoping for a 1-2-3 inning. They just want to get out of this, keep it going, and then try building momentum with the lineup of their own.
0-1 pitch to Riley Bertram. Off the plate and low, 1-1. Bertram walked and scored an inning ago in the Michigan 9-run first inning. Takes ball 2 above the strike zone.
What a beautiful day, though, for ball. I know I said this in the first inning, but like we said, that feels like a long time ago, but it's just so pretty out right now.
Big swing and a miss from Riley Bertram, 2-2 now. Pianto is set from the windup. 2-2, lifted in the air, right center field. That will get down in front of the right fielder. Frank almost bounces over his head, but quickly relays it in. And the speedy Riley Bertram settles into first base with the leadoff single.
Yeah, and these batting averages are just going up for the Wolverines right now. I mean, it almost looks like hitting practice. I was a little bit surprised that Pianto came back for the second inning after he struggled after the start by Arbaugh. But yeah, Michigan State, I mean, they're just in a tough situation where, you know, as a manager, you can't really do much when your pitchers are struggling with their control right now. And I don't know what the bullpen situation is like for Michigan State, but clearly they're putting trust in these guys.
Burton lines one foul, hits off the light pole in the Michigan bullpen. 0-1. Burton singled home 2 runs in the first, a 45-minute first inning. Pianto comes set out of the stretch, and another ball lifted left side and foul.
Yeah, and it's got to be a good confidence booster, though, for Ted Burton right now of a solid first inning. He was able to get that single, 2 RBIs. And now, you know, you're making contact over the plate. You got to try to just get on base again. He's, like you said earlier, he's had a rough season hitting-wise. He's a great defender, but he's a rough season hitting-wise. So if he can try to get the confidence going, you know, this is the exact type of game that the Wolverines need in getting ready for that Big Ten tournament like we talked about earlier.
2 strikes on Ted Burton. Ball squeezes through the legs of Brian Brecker. He slowly makes his way back to the backstop as Bertram advances to second base. It'll be a pass ball.
Yeah,
both catchers in this game are really good defensively. Jimmy Obertop, who usually plays catcher for Michigan, is really good on defense. But Casey Buckley gets the nod today, giving Obertop's knees a break. But we've seen a lot of Big Ten catchers be really, really good behind the plate. Not a lot of that happens.
I was just going to say that can't happen when it goes through your legs below. That's got to be a stop every single time. But yeah, like you said, Brecker he's a solid defender, so don't expect that to keep happening.
1-2 off the plate, 2-2 now. "14 Michigan batters in the first inning. 2 here in the second so far. Runner on second base, Michigan leading 9-4. Lifted in the air, deep left field, way back, but way foul.
Boy, oh boy, did he get contact on that.
That just hit the roof of Schembechler Hall. I mean, that ball still seems like it's going.
Yeah, that was hit very, very well. Just unfortunate it was a pull right there. But Ted Burton, though, drawing out the pitch count for Pianto right now.
Comes set at the letters in the green and gray uniforms today for Michigan State. Swung on and missed. First strikeout for Spartan pitching. Ted Burton down on strikes. Here comes Jake Marty.
From first baseman, number 7, Jake Marty.
And once again, like I said in the first inning, this is the point in the lineup where Michigan State's got to be thinking that they can get out of the inning. Where Jake Marty and Casey Buckley, not known for being great hitters, not too much power to them either. You know, you got to just get out of the inning with these 2 hitters, especially when you consider with the Wolverines with Bertram in scoring position right now at second.
Marty grounded out as the second out in the first inning, but still drove home a run. Good for just RBI number 7 on the season for Jake. Righty against lefty matchup here. Marty stands straight up in the left-handed batter's box, then creaks his knees just a little bit while waving the bat and now resting on the shoulder. Little dribbler towards the right side. Tough play for the first baseman. Vradenburg stepping on first is the pitcher Pianto, and there's out number 2.
Yeah, a little routine. Pitcher covering first base there for Pianto. And now the Spartans with 2 outs. Wolverines have a runner at third. Got to get a strikeout right here. Cannot really have too much.
2 gone in the inning. The Spartan defense will focus on retiring Casey Buckley here. Another lefty for the Wolverines at the bottom of the order. First pitch to Casey misses above the strike zone. If they were able to get through Buckley here, it'd be 1, 2, and 3 in the third for Michigan. Second pitch way above the strike zone again. Riley Bertram over at third, playing some mind games with Dominic Pianto, shifting back and forth and taking a couple of really hard steps towards home. Brian Brecker's got a really good arm, but the third baseman, Kark, is playing nowhere close to third base. 2-0. Swing and a miss. That's a home run swing there from Casey Buckley. Way behind it, though.
Yeah, I don't think you mind it if you're Eric Bakich. You know, with how this game has played out so far, I think your hitters kind of have the green light a little bit to say.
3 balls, 1 strike now as Brecker had to shift over into the right-handed batter's box to stop that ball. I mean, it continues to be a same story, Neal. They're not throwing competitive pitches whatsoever, and if they are, it looks like a beach ball right across the middle of the plate, and that's why Michigan has scored 9 runs. And there's the beach ball right there.
I was just
Buckley
about to
missed
say.
it bad.
I was just going to say that he's going to be looking for the strike zone right here. Pianto does not want to have to face Clark Elliott once again. And so that was going to be right down the middle all the way through. Unfortunately, Buckley just wasn't able to make contact.
3-2 pitch. Lifted in the air. This is playable for the Spartan infield. Bertram's going to come home to score. The catch is made by the catcher, Brecker. That's a tough play for him, walking into the baseball instead of out at it. 9-4, no score here in the second, which just seems weird to say in this game. 9-4 Michigan. Let's head to the third here from Ray Fisher Stadium. Walker Cleveland is the new pitcher for Michigan. Their third already of this game as we're in the top of the third inning. Michigan leads 9-4. It's the 22-year-old native of Suwanee, Georgia, the senior, Walker Cleveland.
Yeah, 8.74 ERA on the season, 13 appearances, 22.2 innings pitched, 4 starts. So, you know, this is a guy who has quite a bit of experience this season. Like you said, Zach, a senior, he has quite a bit of experience through and through. And so Eric Bakich going to be relying on him to certainly get through this 3rd inning, and then we'll see maybe if he can get to a 4th. But Wolverines at this point, you're just hoping to keep conserving this lead. Even if you give up 1 run, you just got to get out of these innings.
It's the core of the Spartan order. Frank, Mays, and Kark, 3, 4, 5. Lifted in the air, out of play towards Yost. Last time we saw Walker was last Wednesday in the win against Wright State. 1 inning pitched, he allowed 2 hits, 1 earned run. One of those hits being a double. Threw just 14 pitches in that appearance. Ball 1, Buckley goes down to stop it.
And of all the Michigan pitchers, Cleveland has the 4th best opposing batting average of 276. So, you know, solid pitcher in terms of going against contact here, but just got to be hoping for an inning or 2 out of him.
Way outside for ball 2. High fly ball right field on the 2-1 pitch. That ball's back and that ball's gone. Big fly for Jack Frank. And there you go, Neal. You just said it. Scratching and clawing their way back. Potentially, Michigan State cuts the lead 9-5.
And again, I mean, I know it's not what Michigan fans want to hear, or what it's certainly not what Eric Bakich wants. You don't want to be giving up runs, obviously. I mean, that's the name of the game of baseball. But it's just 1 run. You were up 5 going into the 3rd. You have a great batting lineup, and you're going to have your 1, 2, and 3 hitters at the bottom of this inning. You're okay with that. You just got to get out of the inning, get 3 straight outs right here.
A bunt right side
Fantastic
from Casey Mays.
bunt.
Wow. He bunted for a hit. They saw Walker Cleveland as a lefty falling way towards the 3rd base side of the rubber. And what a beautifully placed bunt, as Ted Burton had no chance playing as deep as he was.
Yeah, I mean, that every time you're going right side bunt, that is perfect placement of just too far to the left of the pitcher, but too far for second to come in. So great placement.
Dylan Kark, right off the end of the bat. You could hear it just die off the bat as Ted Burton ranges back to make the catch at second base. And 1 gone here in the Spartan 3rd.
Center fielder, number 16.
Got a couple of other Michigan athletes in the crowd here today. A couple football players, R.J. Moten, Mike Morris, and now Brandon Johns Jr., I guess a former Wolverine now, committed to play at Virginia Commonwealth, more commonly known as VCU.
I was going to say, that's interesting that Brandon Johnson's here. You know, when you transfer out, I don't know, I kind of find it interesting that you're still hanging around, but I don't think there's really any bad blood, I guess, with Brandon Johnson.
No animosity.
And the Michigan team.
4 good years as a Wolverine, lots of success. Swinging strike 1, Peter on in the dirt. Beautiful breaking ball from Walker Cleveland. And you'll get this a lot, just taking pictures, hanging out at the ballpark when you're a celebrity like that here on campus.
Yeah, he's got kids coming up to him nonstop.
Cleveland checks over to first. Diving back in safe is Casey Mays. Don't think we're talking enough about the first performance in a Michigan uniform for John Torowella. 1 inning, 2 strikeouts. 0-1 bunted left side and foul. Well, that'll take the bunt out of play for Peter on with 2 strikes.
Yeah, it was a great showing by Torello. I mean, that curveball, we were saying in between innings there, just looked so pretty of starting on the left side of the zone or right side coming back in. I mean, it just, yeah, it looked good. He looked good, and so certainly got to be putting himself in consideration for future appearances.
And that's something that Michigan needs, is another guy out of the bullpen that they can potentially depend on. And now that's hard, being this late in the year and needing another guy to depend on. Like, where are you going to get a guy like that this late in the year? Another weird pop-up, middle of the infield. Bertram's there to make the catch, 2 gone.
Oh, wow.
Oh, and they get him over at first base. Bertram caught the runner sleeping, Casey Mays. And a big fist pump from Coach Eric Bakich out at the block M. And I mean, catching him sleeping is an understatement.
Wow. Mays is probably going to hear an earful because of that, because he was strolling back, and I saw the throw from Bertram, and I was thinking, I'm not sure if there's even a need for it, but sure enough, they were able to get him. What a play.
Not a lot of time where you see P6 double play in a scorebook. Well, but there you go. Let's head to the bottom of the third inning here from Ray Fisher. Michigan State tacks on 1, 9-5 Wolverines. A really odd way to end the top of the third inning, as Mays just simply fell asleep over at first base on the pop-up off the bat of Peter on, and that's not the way that you want a double play to go into the book. Michigan State, 1, 2, 3 for the Wolverines, Elliott, Stewart, and Frye. Michigan leads 9-5 here from Ray Fisher Stadium. Pianto back to work, misses with the first pitch of the inning above the strike zone to Clark Elliott, who's 1 for 2.
And this is where things just kept getting out of hand for Pianto in the first inning, where he faced the 1, 2, and 3 hitters of Clark Elliott, Joe Stewart, Matt Frye. We'll see if he can do a better job here at the bottom of the third.
Called strike 1. A ball and a strike to Clark Elliott. Pianto takes a step back with the left, delivers home. Oh man, that was close. It's called ball 2. I mean, that's just a backdoor bender that looked like a really good pitch. Jake Boss Jr., Michigan State's head coach. Perhaps a couple of words with Sal Giacomo-Antonio. We will resume play now. 2-1. Fouled away. Elliott took a big hack at it. He's disappointed in himself that he didn't get all of it. Wasn't a hard thrown pitch at all. These fastballs aren't coming in too fast on the Michigan hands. That was at 84, and that's the fastball from Pianto. 2-2 pitch. Bouncing ball right side. First baseman Vradenburg with the flip to Pianto, out number 1. Well, the last time that Clark Elliott was retired to lead off an inning, Michigan ended up scoring 9 runs. Here comes Joe Stewart.
That was also a good hour ago, even though it was just 2 innings ago. But yeah, no, well done by Pianto. Get a little bit momentum going here. Try to get the control, which it looks like he's done a much better job of. In the second inning, he looked pretty solid too.
Here's Joe Stewart taking strike 1 outside corner. Painting the black is Pianto. Stewart has walked and then doubled home 2 runs. He scored in both of his plate appearances so far in all 3 innings. 0-1 misses inside. So now as the Michigan athlete celebrities on campus continue to take pictures, Brandon Johns, Mike Morris, RJ Moten, even Eric All, Michigan's talented tight end, is here too. Here's the 1-1 to Stewart. Sharp ground ball, foul.
That was close.
With a lot of speed, Joe Stewart almost certainly ends up at second base there. But if you're one of those guys and you're just here to enjoy a ball game, you've got people coming up to take pictures. Are you a fan of that?
I was just gonna say, because I've been watching Brandon Johns a little bit since he got here. I'm not. I think that. Ooh.
Oh, little excuse me swing right back to the pitcher.
That was
Pianto
very
takes care of Joe
swing.
Stewart.
Looked
Two
like he
gone.
wanted to hold up and then just ended up drawing contact and then just had to go. But yeah, I don't know. I think, you have to, especially when you're in this type of situation when you have all these
PR
kids
stuff.
out. Yeah. And I mean, it's kind of like, what do you expect? You're at a baseball game. You have all these kids everywhere. So you're gonna be taking pictures. But I think at the same time, it has to be a little bit annoying maybe that you just want to go see a fun ball game with your friends and family or whatever it may be. But, I'm sure that he's used to it at this point. It's probably nothing new. So
First pitch to Matt Frye, misses outside. Full shift on from MSU. 1-0 is an odd swing again. A ball and a strike now. 3 defenders on the right side, leaving Dylan Kark all alone at third. But I've watched steadily throughout the season, pretty much the same group of guys come and hang out at Ray Fisher. It's the 1-1. That gets a piece of Matt Frye. He's been hit by a pitch for a second time today.
you've seen Brandon Johns here though before?
No, this is the first time. I saw him on campus earlier today, walking with a friend.
Yeah.
This is the first time I've seen him at Ray Fisher. I always see Mike Morris and R.J. Moten when there's no football practice going on because they sit with the father of Joey Velasquez, who is a dual sport athlete on campus, is now full-time with the baseball team after spring practice ended. Overtop will put one into the air. Farquhar will rest under it after the sky-high pop-up. And we will table that conversation for the top of the 4th inning. 9-5, Michigan leads as we're a third of the way through this one from Ray Fisher Stadium in Ann Arbor. We're in the top of the 4th inning here from Ray Fisher Stadium. Walker Cleveland will stick it out on the mound for the Wolverines. Bottom third of the order for Jake Boss Jr.'s Michigan State club. Brian Brecker, Brock Vradenburg, and Zaid Walker.
And Cleveland, he goes outside for ball 1. Cleveland in the 3rd inning threw 9 pitches, gave up 1 homer, but everything else looked good.
Line shot into left, right over the head of Matt Frye. And there you go, right on cue, Neal.
Yep, a good little announcer's jinx right there, because that was just a hanger right over the middle. And this is a point where, Michigan State, I know I said earlier, if you're Michigan, if you give up a run in an inning, you're fine. But on the flip side, for the Spartans, that's how you got to chip away at this. You're not. It's unlikely you're going to go out and get 5-6 runs in an inning. So they just got to be steady with it. They have a solid lineup where there's not too much power at one single spot or one part of the lineup. So they just got to keep chipping it away and get on base.
Brock Vradenburg takes ball 1. His first AB was in the 2nd inning where he flew out to left. Brecker a short lead at first as the lefty Walker Cleveland stares him down. Delivers home for strike 1, evens up the count at 1-1. Michigan's defense slightly shifts Vradenburg as Matt Frye plays well off the third base bag. Second baseman Ted Burton relatively in a normal spot, but Bertram, the shortstop, playing almost right behind second. Check over to first base. Brecker not going anywhere. Not a lot of speed for the Spartan catcher. .280 average for Bradenburg. Bouncing ball right side. Ooh. Loved by Marty, but foul.
Yeah, and it's an interesting lineup, though, for Michigan State when you look across the board of, you know, like I said, there's not too much meat at one point in it. And that usually with most lineups, and certainly the case for the Wolverines, it's at the top of the order of the 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4. Hitters are all they're the best hitters of a club. Michigan State, when you have a guy like Brock Vradenburg at the bottom of your lineup at hitting 8th, you know, a guy who
2-2 now, Vradenburg.
Yeah, a guy who averages 282 and slugs 415. I mean, that is pretty tough to face as an opposing pitcher. It seems like you're always going up against solid guys.
I mean, a big lefty, too. 6'7", 232. 2-2 pitch, way up and inside. Fastball from Walker Cleveland. Just a sophomore, Vradenburg from Pasadena, California. Big-bodied guy. Michigan State only has 3 seniors, and only one of those seniors is in the starting 9. Foul ball right side. Peter on. I mean, a young team. Season record of 23-27, 7-14 in the Big Ten. Was truly dominated by their 2 rivals this season, Michigan and Ohio State. 3-2. Way up and inside again, ball 4. Walker Cleveland has issued a free pass to Brock Vradenburg, and that will bring up the 9-hole hitter, Zaid Walker.
Yeah, and I mean, as you mentioned, you know, very, very young team. I mean, when you look at this lineup for them, they have 6 underclassmen. They started a true freshman in Aiden Arbaugh today. You know, just a very, very young Spartan team. Michigan, meanwhile, a little bit older, but still not old by any means. You know, not too many seniors on the Wolverines team, but, or at least I guess I should say, of the Wolverine hitters. So, you know, these 2 teams, it's been not a great year, but something that they'll certainly be hoping to build upon for next year.
First pitch to Walker, misses below the strike zone. Michigan's order has 2 seniors in it, but it also has the 2 graduate transfers, so they're going to lose a little bit next year unless a couple of those guys choose to use their extra year of eligibility still. The 1-0. Bouncing ball towards short. Bertram on the flip to Burton. Relay over to first. 6-4, 3 double play.
And at first it looked like Brecker might accidentally get a foot on that one as it was rolling over to Bertram, but Michigan able to get the double play out of that grounder. And now you face the top of the order with Mitch Jebb, always dangerous hitter. But if Michigan can just get this last out, get out without even giving up anything, they got to be feeling very good.
Mitch Jebb and Trent Farquhar, the only 2 Spartans to yet face Walker Cleveland. First pitch to Jebb, popped up. Infield popper. Marty settles under it, stares into the sun, makes the catch for out number 3. And that's a shutout inning. We'll head to the bottom of the 4th inning from Ray Fisher Stadium here in sunny Ann Arbor, Michigan. 9-5, Wolverines in front.
Yeah.
We're live in the Michigan fourth inning. 9-5 is the lead for Eric Bakic's Michigan Wolverines. Tito Flores, Riley Bertram, and Ted Burton to get things started here against Dominic Pianto, who has been pretty solid out of the bullpen after settling down after the first inning. He's now at 62 pitches thrown. First pitch to Flores up the middle, and a leaping
nice
grab by
catch.
Trent Farquhar at second base. Oh, man. How about that? All Big Ten preseason honors for a reason, Neal.
Yeah, that was a nice catch because it looked like he had timed it wrong at first, and he had to kind of reach up that glove behind his head. Able to come down with it. Pianto will certainly thank him for that one. And one thing I was going to say, by the way, Pianto at 63 pitches, 4 earned runs given up. A little surprised that he's still in, but
Lifted in the air, left field off the bat of Bertram. This ball's back. Does it have a chance? And it's off the wall. Mays was sent back. The shortstop, Jeb, is all the way in deep left field to pick up the ball and relay it into third base. It's a stand-up double for Riley Bertram.
was it just me or could Casey Mays have caught that?
He would have had to time that jump really well, much like Trent Farquhar just did at second base. But he drifted back, and you look at the American flag in left center field, too. It's slowly drifting baseballs out towards left center field. And it may have just gotten a little extra carry from the wind and pushed it towards the wall.
Yeah, I was just confused because he was running back hard, and I thought he was going to get up for the catch and then lets up last second. But regardless, Michigan on base here and in scoring position.
There goes Bertram as Ted Burton's at the plate. Throw it on third base is not in time. It took a while there for the third base umpire, Aaron Woodbury, to give us a call. It's a stolen base for Riley Bertram. He's now 3 of 5 on the season as a base thief. In the meantime, it was ball 1 to Ted Burton as the Michigan State defense makes their way into the infield grass.
Now Ted Burton trying to get some more insurance runs here for the Wolverines to put them into solid, safe position.
Sharp ground ball towards third. The throw to the plate is in time. Tagged out is Riley Bertram. Burton is safe over at first, but nice play by Dylan Kark. He bobbled it for a moment and came home and still got Bertram in plenty of time.
And quite a bit going on in Michigan sports today. Of course, you have the Detroit Tigers playing the Tampa Bay Rays. They've won 4 straight now. Not trying to jinx it like I feel like I've been doing nonstop this broadcast, but then you have the NBA draft lottery going on in about 30 minutes. So
Big swing and a miss from Jake Marty, 0-1.
Of course, in the lottery, the Pistons have the 3rd best odds. They could be picking anywhere from 1 to 7.
What, a 14% chance to draft first?
It would be crazy to get it back-to-back. I think the NBA lottery is frankly rigged, so I'd find it shocking if it were to happen, but who knows?
Called strike 2 to Jake Marty.
Zach, where do you think the Pistons end up picking, though?
I don't think there's much of a chance they'll go back-to-back at 1. I think they're going to be somewhere like 4. That just seems realistic. And honestly, this year, I think it's going to kind of be a gem in the rough kind of thing. Burton's going to try and snag second. A double pump from Brecker. He throws it into center field. Burton is safe at second base, and he was faked out by Mitch Jebb. He did the old Javi Baez trick where you act like you still have the baseball and bring him back to second base. As a center fielder, Peter Ahn made sure to bring that ball in.
No, I'm with you on that, though, as far as the Pistons.
There's no true number 1 pick,
in
my opinion.
No, I agree. I think, you know I'm an NBA guy.
Right.
Podcast, 3 Rings podcast. Got to shout it out. So check it out if you're a basketball fan, Pistons fan, whatever. But
1-2 way outside, stopped by Brecker. 2-2 to Jake Marty.
But yeah, I would say my big board right now is probably Jabari Smith, Paolo Banchero, Chet, Holmgren, 1, 2, and 3. And I think that's the top tier of guys. I think there's a little bit of distance to the next 2 or next tier.
You don't think Jaden Ivey's up in that top tier?
No, I don't. I think the shooting is just...
Ball 3 to Marty, fills up the count 3-2 with 2 gone.
The shooting is concerning, and it's funny because we called the Michigan game at Purdue, and he went into that game as a 43% three-point shooter. You know what his three-point percentage was by the end of the year?
Say 28.
Yep. It was 28 or 27.6 or something like that.
Fouled off.
That means
stick around at 3 and 2.
He was awful, and I mean awful, the last 2 months of that season shooting from 3. And if you watch them in the tournament, he looks shy from 3. That's going to be a big issue. Now, I think he has the potential, all the potential in the world. I've been saying I think he's like John Morant, but we'll see.
Right.
But I would say he's in that next tier. I think my 4 and 5 guys would be
Here,
Benedict.
I'll ask you this with Jaden Ivey. If we wait on the 3-2 from Pianto. Ground ball towards Farquhar at second. Speedy Marty is thrown out. Let's table that conversation. I want to get back into that in the top of the 5th inning here. 9-5 Wolverines as we head to the 5th inning from Ray Fisher Stadium in Ann Arbor. New pitcher for the Wolverines, it's the heat thrower, Ahmad Harajli, 6'4", 240-pound sophomore from Dearborn, Michigan.
And Harajli with a 9.9 ERA on the season. He has 15 appearances, but just 10 innings pitched. So he's really struggled with getting through innings. That's certainly what Eric Bakich is going to be looking for here. But like you said, this guy can throw some heat. I mean, yeah, watch out for the fastball. We'll see. But the biggest thing is, can he keep the control and just try to get the strikeouts going.
Pitched over the weekend at Maryland. 2 innings pitched, allowed 1 hit, but he walked 3. Still no earned runs, though. He struck out 1. Pitched against Wright State last Wednesday as well. Allowed 1 hit. It's a home run. Faces Trent Farquhar, and he delivers 94.5 miles an hour, ball 1 off the plate. But he hit 98 last week against Wright State. He was feeling it. Ball 2 is at 96.
And I mean, a 6'4", 240-pound frame as a sophomore. You got to be kidding me with that. I mean, this is a big guy. You can see why he's touching 99 like that. My goodness.
He committed to play at Michigan while he was still at Dearborn High School. Over in Dearborn, 2-0 is now 2-1. Fastball slowed down just a touch to get that control. Committed to Michigan, then went to IMG Academy for a year. Eric Bakich I told him, go down there, get your control underway a little bit. 2-2 now as it's fouled it away by Trent Farquhar. It's 2-3-4 for Michigan State. And now he's found a home here at Michigan, throwing fastballs. Counts now full 3-2. Fastball misses below the strike zone. Won't see a lot of breaking balls, but he can use the slider really effectively. Full count pitch, popped up, slicing out of play. Matt Frye runs out of room down the third base side. But he's a lot like Aroldis Chapman in the sense that he can throw the fastball really hard. Now, Aroldis Chapman throws more of a cutter compared to just a regular four-seam fastball, but famously known for hitting 106, but a wipeout slider to go along with the fastball. Harajli with the 3-2. Above the strike zone, ball 4.
It seems like Michigan's kind of had this theme going the last 3 innings now with their pitching of just you kind of walk the first batter and then you just stave off the rest. And once again, I mean, 9-5 right now. You're in the top of the 5th. Wolverines have to be feeling good, but you just got to stay consistent. Michigan State, like I said earlier, you just got to chip away at it little by little.
Here is Jack Frank, the MSU lefty, takes ball 1. Fastball was asked to be away from Casey Buckley, and it went inside. He had to reach all the way across his body, and it nicked off his glove to the backstop as Farquhar advances to second. Well, back to what we were talking about in the bottom of the 4th inning. I was asking you about, we were talking, that is, about the NBA draft lottery tonight and who the best prospects are. You're much more of an NBA guy than I am. But in terms of Jaden Ivey, who's one of the top prospects in this year's draft in comparison to John Morant, ball 2, way inside again. How long do you think it takes Jaden Ivey to potentially become a guy like John Morant in the league? Because he's got all the capability in the world. He seems like a guy with bounce out of the roof. He can shoot it pretty well. Of course, he fell off late in the season, but how long do you think it takes a guy like that to get to that level of John Morant? 3 balls, no strikes now.
And that's the question. I mean, that's the big question that all the NBA GMs are looking at, because I don't think it would be as seamless or as easy, I guess you could say, as it came for John Morant.
But you think he can get there?
I definitely can. I really do. I think that's why I have him number 5 on my big board, just behind Benedict Mathurin. I think he's that good. The athleticism is certainly there, and it'll come along eventually. Don't get me wrong. I think he'll be a great NBA player. I just think the issue for him is I'm not sure it'll come along in his first contract period, in that I think it'll take maybe 5-6 years for him to really get the NBA game down, just because it's great.
3-0 misses, ball 4. Back-to-back walks have been issued here by Ahmad Harajli to begin the 5th inning.
As Casey Mize comes up to bat, but Casey Mays, excuse me, not Casey Mize.
Hey, we're score watching the Tigers game as well at the same time.
But no, I mean,
2-0 right now.
Yeah, I think with Jaden Ivey, you know, the athleticism is there. That's
through the
great.
roof, man.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. But one thing you see a lot with guys like that in the NBA is they rely on that, you know, all of their lives up until the NBA. Ivey certainly did that in college. His only move was just using his blow-by speed to always dribble to his right, by the way. He doesn't use his left hand.
Casey Mays takes ball 1 inside corner.
Yeah, always dribbles to his right, and he just uses his sheer athleticism.
And that's a note you and I made while we were in West Lafayette watching that game. Is we just noticed he continuously went to his right, and it worked. But it won't work against NBA defenders. Yep. 1-0. There's strike 1.
And in general, I mean, everybody in the NBA has some sort of sheer athleticism. Maybe minus Luka Doncic, but hey, that works out for him anyways. But, you know, you can't rely on that solely in the NBA.
That's a conversation for another inning.
So they're going to have to build out the skills for him, and he's got to build out the shot. And that's the other thing I'll say.
Oh, man. Way inside, past Buckley again. And Harajli just does not have the control today. 2-1 now to Casey Mays. Second wild pitch of the inning.
And briefly, I know that this conversation is starting to get long, but that's the other thing I'll say in comparison to John Morant. I think Ivey's shot isn't nearly as far along as John Morant's was coming into the NBA. Morant had a solid shot in college. It was okay, and it served him okay in the beginning of his NBA career. The same can't really be said of Ivey, in my opinion. The mechanics aren't really right. He's going to have to tweak that a lot. So I just think the issue with him is it's going to take 4 or 5 years for him to really get used to the NBA game and really peak at it. Now,
swung on and missed. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Fastball ramped up to 97 for Harajli.
That's not to say he won't reach it. I think he will. It's just going to take time, like I said. And so, and that's why I have him a little bit behind the rest of the guys of Jabari Smith, Paolo Banchero, Chet. and Benedict Mathern.
2-2 fouled away. Let's just say, hypothetically, the Pistons are lucky enough to get the #1 pick. Who's your pick at 1?
Jabari Smith.
Specific reason why?
The reason is I think he's the best available, best overall player in the draft. I think.
And you think fit for the Pistons
I
wise?
think Fit's unbelievable.
Got him, strike 3 looking. That's a big punch out for Ahmad Harajli here in the 5th inning. 1 gone.
Detroit's in a situation where they have their #1 guy. You know, I know everyone's going to say, well, Cade Cunningham, this is inefficiency, that, blah, 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 blah. He is that dude. I'm telling you right now, he will be competing for MVPs in 2-3 years.
Cade?
Yeah, I think he's that good. And his playmaking is insane. The Pistons don't need somebody that can just run the offense on their own. And that's not.
Kark takes ball 1 outside.
Yeah, that's not what Jabari Smith is. He is a catch and shoot player offensively that can also drive by you. He doesn't need the ball in his hands nonstop like Paolo Banchero does.
There's strike 1. Nice pitch on the inside corner from Ahmad at 95 miles an hour. Counts evened up 1-1 with Dylan Kark. 1 out here in the Spartan 5th. Runners on 2nd and 3rd. Michigan leading 9-5.
And then unlike Chet Holmgren, there's not many questions about Jabari's body. He's a little skinny, but.
Oh, there's the first breaking ball that we've seen from Ahmad Harajli. 2-1.
He's a little skinny, but 6'10". He'll do just fine in the NBA. And like I said, he has that dog mentality. I've seen it in the games that I've seen of him in college. He has the tough mentality that you need.
High bouncing ball towards Burton at 2nd. This will be the 2nd out of the inning. A run does come home to score as Farquhar is in. It's now 9-6, but 2 outs in the 5th. How long do you think it takes Chet Holmgren to be NBA ready? You don't think he's there yet?
No. He, to quote Shaquille O'Neal, he's going to be barbecue chicken every single day for his rookie season. I hate to be that guy, but his body is not there. I mean, I don't care what position you put him at.
Oh, nice pitch. Breaking ball through the back door to Peter on strike 1.
His rookie season, he is not going to be able to compete defensively. He simply won't. Even if you put him at the 3, he's going to be too slow to compete with small forwards in the NBA. He's not big enough at the 4 or the 5.
Line shot into left center field. That'll score another run. All the way to the wall as Flores gives chase. He'll relay the ball into the cutoff man, Riley Bertram. It's a stand-up double for Peter on. And the Michigan State senior now makes it 9-7 Michigan.
Yeah, Chet, he's not big enough at the 4 or 5. They need to add that weight, which they will. And, you know, to all the people who want to hate on him, he has the skills. He has the skill set.
He can shoot it, too.
He most definitely can shoot it. He's a great rim protector with smaller guys. That'll come in the NBA, but he's got to add the size. For him, it's just all about physicality. It's kind of the opposite situation of Jaden Ivey of he has the skill set. He doesn't have the physicality. Ivey has the physicality. He doesn't have the skill set.
There's strike 1 to Brian Brecker.
But yeah, I think Chet, he'll be good in the NBA. It's going to take time. And I think he's the type of guy that everyone's going to be calling him a bust, I think, after his rookie season. But give him time, and I think he will turn into a great player.
1 ball, 1 strike to Brian Brecker. Fastball above the strike zone at 96. Michigan has plenty of arms getting up and loose in the bullpen, including Logan Wood. Draft lottery now in 14 minutes as we continue to watch the clock. You and I being Pistons fans, of course, hoping for the best in Detroit. It'd be nice to have, of course, the Detroit team that can, 1, compete, but a basketball team professionally that can compete too. Strike 2. Nice pitch outside corner to Brecker. Harajli has him down to his final strike here in the 5th.
Looked like Buckley kind of brought that pitch back in with the catch. I thought it was outside of the zone, but it was called inside. But yeah, I mean, you know, it was funny.
Oh, not close. 2-2.
I was talking to a friend from, Minnesota. And, you know, I was making fun of his sports teams, the pros teams out in Minnesota, and I was saying, you know, the Timberwolves won the championship with how Pat Beverly was celebrating in that play-in game. And he was just telling me, you know, that's what happens.
2-2. Misses at the feet of Brian Brecker.
Yeah, he was just saying that's what happens in Minnesota just because they haven't had too much success there. Then I thought, man, you know what? We haven't seen a playoff win in any of the 4 sports since, what, 2015 with the Red Wings?
Red Wings
Yeah.
was the last time.
I mean, it's been 7 years.
Pistons have been there twice, haven't won a game, been swept both times.
Yeah.
Once by Cavs, once by Bucks.
Yeah, Cavs in 2016, Bucks in 2018, and Cavs in 2009. I mean, Pistons are approaching a Lions type of playoff win drought. I mean, it's been since 2008 for them.
Here's the full count pitch. Below the strike zone, ball for Brian Brecker. And the tying run is now at first base.
So, yeah, it's been a rough go of things. But hopefully, hopefully things can turn around. I had high hopes for the Tigers this year. I really thought that they could get that second wild card. And I'm not to say that it's over. It's done. It's not. It's very early on in the season. The Tigers, if you guys remember, last year started 9-24. Every single one of the remaining months of May, June, July, August, September, they had winning records throughout all of those months.
There's ball 1 to Bradenburg, the Spartan first baseman. He is 0 for 1. He walked in the 4th. Runners on first and second with 2 gone here in the Spartan 5th inning, 9-7 Wolverines.
So the Tigers can turn around as they're down 3-1 right now to the Rays. But that team,
they literally hit a home run 15 seconds ago.
Yeah, I saw an update on your phone. But that team, talent's there, I think, and they have the young prospects. They just got to get healthy. Yeah. And hopefully Riley Green, by the way, will infuse some life into that lineup because
2-0 pitch called strike 1.
Zach,
now you think back to I'm a big Tigers guy. I know you're a big basketball guy just in general, but the Tigers are my Detroit team. And I'm talking to a couple of buddies, and I'm just saying, you know what? Success for this team would be anywhere between 5 to, nice pitch from Harajli, 2-2. He gives himself a fist pump on the leg and is ready for the 2-2 pitch. But I'd say anywhere between 5 to 10 games under 500 by the break if injuries continue to be this much of a factor. That's a success.
Oh, yeah.
In the first half of the season. Then
yeah,
you come back after the break and hopefully compete. 2-2. Oh, man.
Ooh.
I mean, that seems squarely into the corner of the strike zone. That pulls boos from the Michigan faithful. Count is now full to Vradenburg. 9-hole hitter Zaid Walker is on deck with potentially a chance with the bases loaded. Big pitch upcoming. Here's a 3-2. Runners on the go. Ball 4.
Those are 2 close pitches, man. That is tough to swallow. But, Harajli's just got to get out of the inning. One more out, deliver a few good pitches right here and try to get him out.
Here comes Eric Bakich. Michigan will go to the bullpen as Harajli only gets through 2/3 of an inning. Here in the top of the 5th, there's the point. And with this game being 9-7, Michigan's going to go to Avery Goldensoft to try and escape this inning with the lead from Ray Fisher Stadium in Ann Arbor. We'll be right back from WCBN Sports. Michigan looking for a big third out here in the 5th inning with the bases loaded. Avery Goldensoft gets the call. A big right-hander, 6'6", 170 pounds, a native of Saginaw. The freshman will face off against the 9-hole hitter Zaid Walker with the bases juiced here in the 5th.
And Goldensoft, 9.87 ERA. He has had 12 appearances on the season, 17.1 innings pitched, but a 4.02 opposing batting average. Not too good there, but hopefully just got to get out of the inning.
First pitch, strike. Nice placement from Avery Goldensoft. At third base is Peter On. Brian Brecker occupies second, and Vradenburg stands on first. 9-7 Michigan. After an explosive first inning, MSU's clawed their way back. 0-1, fouled away. Breaking ball, that was a mistake though by Avery Goldensoft, and he's lucky that Walker wasn't able to sit on it long enough. 0-2.
Yeah, and this is where you don't really go anything at the center of the zone. You got to be trying to paint the corners or even outside of them, because you don't want to tempt Walker here.
And there's a good waste pitch, high and outside. A ball and 2 strikes now. Figure he goes back with the fastball here.
I think so, but it's got to be high. It's got to be a riser.
Walker bends his knees just a touch, waits on the 1-2. Oh, he goes breaking ball. Got him swinging. That's a big strikeout for Avery Goldensoft out of the bullpen. Score remains 9-7. Spartans leave them loaded. We'll head to the bottom of the 5th from Ray Fisher Stadium. You're listening to Michigan Baseball on WCBN Sports. Dominic Pianto, yet another inning out of the bullpen for Michigan State. 9-1-2 for the Wolverines. Buckley, Elliott, and Stewart holding a 9-7 lead. Michigan 9 runs on 9 hits, 1 error against the Wolverines. MSU 7 runs on 7 hits, 1 error against Green and White. Ball 1 from Pianto above the strike zone. Casey Buckley, the Wolverine catcher, he's 0 for 1. Walked and scored in that long first inning, then popped out in the second.
A little surprised that Pianto's still in here.
Ball 2.
As, you know, struggled with the command the first inning. He figured it out for the next 3 innings. But when you have Buckley coming up and then you have the 1 and 2 hitters of Clark Elliott and Joe Stewart, I was a little surprised. I expected a change there, but the Spartans putting some trust and hope in their pitcher.
Breaking ball called for a strike high in the zone, as Pianto has now crossed 3/4 of the way to the century mark in the pitch count. Pianto from the windup delivers home, flied into center field. Ranging back is On into the shadows of center, makes the catch for out number 1. Here comes the top of the order for the Wolverines with Clark Elliott at the plate.
It's where Michigan's got to really be attacking. I mean, you know, we've been saying that they were sitting in a good position up 9-4, then became 9-5. Well, Michigan State got 2 here at the top of the 5th. It's gotten to the point for Michigan that you gotta start having a little bit of worry, a little nervousness coming in, and they gotta just try to get 1 or 2 runs right here to continue their lead and give them a little bit of insurance for the later innings.
Clark looks at ball 1 in the opposing batter's box. Righty on lefty here. Elliott is 1 for 3 today with a double and an RBI. Takes ball number 2 above the strike zone. Pianto transferred to Michigan State from Furman prior to the fall of 2020. Furman announced that it was going to discontinue its baseball program in the spring right after COVID hit and shortened the 2020 season. There's strike 1 to Clark Elliott, 2-1 now. And then had to redshirt the 2021 year as a Spartan due to injury. So this is his first full season in a Spartan uniform, the 2-1. Fouled back. Made 5 relief appearances for the Paladins of Furman. 5 strikeouts in just 5 innings pitched. Only allowed 8 hits, 6 runs. ERA read 9, but as a freshman with very limited experience, that's not too bad. 2-2. Fastball above the strike zone. 3 balls, 2 strikes now to Clark Elliott. Nine home runs on the season for Clark, looking to make it double digits as he will take ball 4.
There we go. And we'll see if Joe Stewart can capitalize. Like I said, Michigan kind of in a little bit of a precarious position. The Spartans have done a good job chipping away at the lead. And so with Joe Stewart, you don't need too much. You just got to get on base and continue to pressure Pianto, because you also got to understand his pitch count is now at 83. And so the Spartans will soon be looking at taking him out. There's a little bit of bullpen movement right now, too.
Here's Joe Stewart. Elliott takes a strong lead off first, swung on and missed for strike number 1. Slower fastball from Dominic Pianto, 83 miles an hour. Big change from Michigan's arm in the 5th. Almost a throwaway on the pickoff move as Bradenburg had to go all the way across the bag to snag it as Elliott stands in safe. Working from the first base side of the rubber out of the stretch is Pianto, delivers home with a drive of the leg, and Stewart frustrated with himself. That's the 2nd consecutive time he's taken a really odd swing.
I was just going to say, I thought it was going to be another check swing, ground out, but that one lucky enough for Stewart, able to just foul backwards. But yeah, we'll see if he can get something going here. 9 homers on the year. We haven't seen too much power yet by the Wolverines.
Ball 1, way above the strike zone, bringing Brecker out of his crouch. Pianto, the redshirt freshman from Hendersonville, Tennessee. Seen a lot of transfers, lots of transfers between Michigan and Michigan State. Elliott will make his way back safely to first base. This being the 10th appearance on the season for Pianto. Last through 6 days ago against Western Michigan. 5 innings, though. Oh. Stewart checked his swing. Did he go around? No, sir, he did not, says Thomas Burrell Jr., the umpire at first. Even count now at 2-2. A really nice performance against Western. Allowed 3 hits, no runs. He walked 4, but he struck out 3 in a scoreless performance. 77 pitches there.
Yeah, great hold-off swing there by Stewart, though, to not.
Elliott on the move. Ball 3, sliding out. Beautiful throw by Brian Brecker to snag Clark Elliott off the base paths. And he's now 14 of 17 on the season.
Now 2 outs for the Michigan State Spartans.
I mean, where was that pitch, though?
Yeah.
3-2. Bouncing ball foul. Back into the Michigan dugout.
Good pitch, though, by Pianto below the zone there, forcing Stewart to swing at that one.
I mean, on the caught stealing pitch, too, you'd think that was going to be a strike. 3-2. soft looper foul. I mean, that really looked like a strike.
Yeah.
Michigan will take it, I'm sure, but he was right at the knees on the inside half of the plate. Brecker threw it from his knees down to second and took Clark Elliott out of the base paths. Fouled back to the screen. Joe Stewart really ramping up the pitch count of Dominic Pianto.
Pianto, these are gonna be the last few pitches of his day. You would have to think, obviously.
Right, he'll be done after this inning.
Yeah.
Should be a career high inning pitch count.
Oh my.
Fouled away by Joe Stewart. Oh no, did it get him? It did.
Wow.
Well, there's no review here, but they may bring the umpires in to have a conversation. They say Stewart did not go around, and there's not going to be a conference between the umpires. Jake Boss Jr., the head man for Michigan State, asks out to Brian Brecker whether or not he saw it. He says, I don't know.
Yeah, I was
got a piece of the hand of Joe Stewart. That's
definitely hit him, but I was a little surprised that they gave him that. Stewart, though, I mean, that was, what was it? That was the fourth check type of swing that we had seen.
Timing is just off. There's strike one to Matt Frye. 300 average now on the season. We talked about it earlier that one hit would put him over 300. He's exactly at 300 now. There goes Joe Stewart. Brecker's throw down to second. Not in time. Stewart slid over second base. Mitch Jebb went flying over Stewart, and the ball went into center fielder. Peter Ahn was making sure he was awake. Stolen base for Joe Stewart.
And that should have been an out there for Michigan State. Brecker's got to hit that throw because Stewart was a little bit behind on the get-go there. Looked like he should not have gotten there, but Michigan gets a little lucky.
Stolen base, number 20, Matt Frye, has just been plunked for a third time today.
And it's all been by Pianto too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, every single time it's been Pianto. Wow. Maybe some animosity between those two, who knows?
It didn't seem like Frye was frustrated. That's just a curveball. Here comes Jake Boss Jr. He'll make the change. We'll get back to that conversation when we come back from Ray Fisher Stadium in Ann Arbor. Score is 9-7. Michigan leading and threatening here in the fifth. Michigan State's third arm of the game after a really nice performance out of the bullpen from Dominic Pianto. Andrew Carson 6'2", 185 pounds from Rochester, Michigan. The junior attended Stony Creek. And the transfer from Lansing Community College has a chance to strand 2 Wolverines with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th, Neal.
Yeah, Andrew Carson, 6.96 ERA. He has 24 appearances. That is the most of any Spartan pitcher this year. He hasn't started any game, though, so it's all come in relief. He has 2 saves on the year, 32 innings pitched. So they are hoping for at least an inning, possibly 2 or 3 out of him. And opposing batting average of 262, so a very solid pitcher.
Here is Jimmy Obertop, runners on first and second. First pitch from Carson today. Oh, man,
wow.
That got Obertop on the shoulder. Back to back to back, hit by pitch. And that'll bring up Tito Flores. Welcome to the game.
And to the Michigan fans that aren't happy with that, listen, that's just baseball. There's a lot of fans standing up mad here. That's just baseball. Trust me, the Spartans, they have 2 outs on the board. They, more than anyone, want to get out of this inning. And so Carson right here working up against Flores, my bad, sorry. But yeah, looking for some out of the zone action, I think, here.
Flores, real bent over stance, holds that bat above the helmet, ball 1. Breaking ball low and outside at 78. Flores today 1 for 3, singled in the first inning, flew out also in the first, and then lined out on a beautiful play by Trent Farquhar in the 4th. 1-0 pitch, sharp ground ball towards third. Stepping on third base on a smart play is Dylan Kark. Bases are left juiced for both Michigan and Michigan State here in the 5th. Let's head to the 6th inning. Lots of fun here from Ann Arbor at Ray Fisher Stadium. 9-7, Maize and Blue on WCBN Sports. One, 2, 3 for Michigan State. Avery Goldensoft will stick things out. Jeb, Farquhar, and Frank. Michigan leads by 2, 9-7 here in the top of the 6th inning from Ray Fisher Stadium. First pitch from Goldensoft, a little slapper towards second. Burton eats it up, makes a quick throw to first as Mitch Jeb had a lot of speed out of the box. 1 gone on 1 pitch here in the 6th inning.
Yep, good job by Burton. Routine ground out there. The ball did take a little bit of a hop at the end, but able to control it and then get the out. And here comes Mitch Jeb once again. He is the best hitter for Michigan State. Wolverines need an out right here.
Strike 1 to Trent Farquhar. High fastball from Avery Goldensoft. Sits at about 88 miles an hour. 0-1 pitch. Oh, beautiful placement on the outside part of the plate. 0-2. That's not the fastball, though. That's the changeup from Goldensoft with just a little dip at the end.
I apologize, by the way. You're right. It is Farquhar, not Mitch Jebb.
0-2 pitch just off the plate. Maybe half a ball's width off the side of the plate. A ball and 2 strikes to Trent Farquhar. Curveball is blasted towards the Michigan State dugout. That's a hey, watch it moment.
Yeah, that was one of those swings that the ball's coming right at the center of your chest and you just try to get a piece of it.
Way early. It's Trent Farquhar, ball and 2 strikes. Goldensoft delivers, bouncing ball towards Marty. He'll flip to Goldensoft. There's 2 retired here in the Spartans' 6th inning. We take a glance to our left, just beyond the Michigan dugout, and we see maybe early high school, middle school Huron baseball players. Now, you were an Ann Arbor Pioneer guy.
I was,
Does that
yes.
irk you a little bit?
It does a little bit. Seeing some river rats out here.
River rats.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Here's Jack Frank. Is there a story behind that at all? Ball one.
I don't know, to be honest. And it's funny because I like making fun of the River Rat mascot, but at the same time, we were the Ann Arbor Pioneers, which is
high drifting fly ball. Flores is back. Now he comes in. It's off the wall. Played it as if he was going to catch it. Standing up at second base is Jack Frank, and he's got his 2nd hit on the day. Hit by pitch, homer, walk, and now a stand-up double.
Unfortunate, but well played by Tito Flores. Of first playing the ball, sees it's going to be way over his head, and then turns, gets ready for the hit off the wall.
Here comes Casey Mays for Michigan State. Now, how tightly knit is that rivalry between the 3 Ann Arbor schools, Skyline, Huron, and of course Pioneer?
Pretty tightly knit, I would say. It's been tough because in football, all 3 aren't good.
Sharp bouncing ball, foul. Is there a better school out of the 3 in football?
Definitely not Huron, I'll tell you that. They didn't win a game for like 4 straight years. Skyline is okay. I would say probably Pioneer is the best, and that's saying something because Pioneer every year is like 4 and 5. So
here's the 0-1 pitch to Mays. Swung on and missed. Nice breaking ball, low in the strike zone. And Goldensoft is ahead 0-2. Avery holds the glove right on the hip. Comes set from the third base side of the rubber at the belt. Stares back at the runner at second, delivers home, drives for strike number 3. Got him swinging. That's out number 3. The Michigan State 6th inning is over. Let's head to the bottom of the 6th from Ray Fisher Stadium. It's a 9-7 Wolverine lead from WCBN Sports. In the bottom of the 6th inning from Ann Arbor, a sunny Ann Arbor as the sun begins to set in the west. Long, long shadows crossing Ray Fisher Stadium as shadows now cover, I'd say, a good 2/3 of the field now at this point. Riley Bertram will lead things off for Michigan. Ted Burton and Jake Marty will follow.
Yep.
Michigan, they scored 9 runs in the first inning and have gone scoreless against the Michigan State bullpen since. Strike one outside corner looking Riley Bertram.
Yeah, it's been a weird game. You know, we were joking that, first of all, the first inning would run forever. It was a 45-minute first inning, and that the score would be, 40-35, but
Fouled away, strike two. It's a quick 0-2 to Riley Bertram. And I was keeping time in that first inning. The first pitch was at 6:02. The final pitch of the first inning, 45 minutes later, was 6:47. Then I started clock watching. The next 4 innings took just as long as it did for the first inning. The 0-2, way off the plate.
yeah, and that's just, I guess that's just
Ridiculous.
how it goes sometimes. But you got to give the pitchers a ton of credit. I mean, they've done, on both sides, a great job settling down, especially give Pianto for Michigan State, the worlds of credit, because
Swung on and missed. Down on strikes goes Riley Bertram. First time he struck out today. And the first strikeout for Andrew Carson.
Pianto came in for Aiden Arbaugh, who was struggling that first inning. Pianto didn't really do too much better, by the way. But he was able to settle himself down.
It's like a whole new guy.
Yeah, I mean, he manages to then pitch 3 other scoreless innings. I mean, just a fantastic job by him and the Michigan State pitching staff.
Ted Burton takes ball 1 in the dirt. Slight shift on Ted. Third baseman Kark plays in on the grass. Shortstop Jeb is in the outfield grass. Then Farquhar plays almost right behind second base. 1-0 pitch, slightly off the plate, maybe half a ball's width off. Michigan won all 3 games against Michigan State earlier this season. Scores 18-6, 8-2, and 6-3. 2-0 pitch misses as well. 3-0 to Ted Burton. They lead this one 9-7. For Michigan, it was the most runs scored in a series this season, 32 overall runs, and it was their second best defensive performance of the year in a 3-game series by allowing just 11 runs. Their strike number 1 to Ted Burton, 3-1 now. Their best was in mid-March against Dayton. They only allowed 9 runs against the Flyers in the opening series here at Ray Fisher Stadium.
And Burton just got to try to get something, as he does there.
Hard ground ball towards Farquhar at second. He plays it on a scoop. 2 gone.
Yeah, the Michigan offense here has just been struggling to get it going since that first inning. 2 outs now. Carson and the Spartans are sitting pretty to get out of this one free. And then you go into the 7th inning down 2 runs. This is a game.
2 gone for Jake Marty. He's 0 for 3 today. First pitch to him misses low and in the dirt. Brian Brecker on a backhanded stop. Michigan kind of got the short end of the stick when it came to their final 2 Big Ten series of the season. Played at Maryland this past weekend and got swept. It was ball 2, same exact spot. And then they have Rutgers this weekend, Thursday through Saturday. So you can join the team at the park on Saturday for Bark in the Park. It'll be a lot of fun. Rutgers at 16-5 in conference. Maryland also at 16-5. Back-to-back 3-ball counts to Michigan batters. Ted Burton also saw a 3-ball count, then took strike 1, then bounced out. Carson comes set at the belt. Short leg kick delivery home. Same exact pitch that Ted Burton saw for strike 1. Maryland and Rutgers duking it out. Michigan's going to see the Scarlet Knights here at Ray Fisher for 3 games this weekend. Michigan State will play against Nebraska for 3 games. There's strike 2 as it's fouled away by Jake Marty. MSU will travel to Lincoln and Hawks Field at Haymarket Park. Here's ball 4 to Jake Marty. He'll make his way down to first base with 2 gone. That'll bring up 9-hole hitter Casey Buckley.
Punt catcher number 50.
Man, and the Detroit Pistons will be picking number 5 in the draft. We're looking at the lottery live here. Unfortunate.
You had to know that
horrible.
our luck was going to run out.
Yeah. No, it wasn't horrible. Make no mistake about it. They will have, I think they'll probably be going with Jaden Ivey then, who we talked about earlier, but we'll see.
Casey Buckley with the runner at first. Marty fakes running. Called strike 1 outside corner. But you also figure, you see a lot of rumbling around about the Pistons potentially attacking free agency really hard this offseason too. Now you figure they'll probably try and make a run at least a playoff appearance. Weird swing from Buckley, very unsure. It looked like he was taking a practice golf hack and regretted it immediately. It's 0-2. But you figure they'll go at a free agent hard, potentially a name like DeAndre Ayton from the Phoenix Suns. Swung on and missed. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Andrew Carson. Strands the walker, Jake Marty at first base. Just the 3rd overall team strikeout for Michigan State. 9-7 as we head to the final third of this one from Ray Fisher Stadium on WCBN Sports. New arm to the hill for the Wolverines, Angelo Smith makes an appearance here. Graduate student, 5'9", 175 pounds, native of Thornton, Illinois. Face off against Carson and Brecker for MSU with a 9-7 advantage. First pitch from Angelo to Kark, just off the plate, ball 1.
Yeah, and Angelo Smith with an 11.68 ERA, 1-1 record. He has 13 appearances. Like previous pitcher, 0 games started this year.
Weak ground ball towards Burton. Not even running out of the box is Dylan Kark. He was looking at the home plate umpire, Sal Giacomo-Antonio. I don't know what he could have been potentially arguing there, but it's out number 1 nonetheless. Comes Peter on. What was that all about?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, Peter on has a double in the 5th inning. Other than that, struck out looking in the first. As Angelo Smith throws him ball 1, and then he was unfortunately guilty of the weird pop out to Riley Bertram in the third, which resulted in a double play, taking Casey Mays off the base paths. There's ball 2. High and outside fastball from Angelo Smith. And like, what a weird play. Just keep thinking back to a couple of these plays in this game have just been unique. Since Riley Bertram backpicked a guy who simply walked back to first, there's a little slap shot into left for a base hit. And the tying run comes to the plate.
And for anybody still interested in the lottery, the Orlando Magic have won the #1 pick, so the Wagner brothers will be teaming up with one of Jabari Smith, Chet Holmgren, or Paolo Banchero. Number 2 is the OKC Thunder, who I thought would be #1, so pretty interesting lottery there. Pistons, of course, like we said, are #5.
Here's the Spartan catcher, Brian Brecker. 1 for 2, single and a walk. Ground out in the first. Sharp ground ball right side past Marty. That will advance the runner from first over to third. Elliott relays the ball in. Runners on the corners with the potential go-ahead run now coming to the plate. You just got to feel like this game is nowhere near over in the top of the 7th here.
Yeah, there's just been a weird, I don't know, irk to this game since the first inning that Michigan State has just been slowly chipping away at it. They haven't had any crazy inning, which we said they didn't need to, but they've just been going at it little by little. And sure enough, I mean, they're in the position that they wanted to be in. They're just 2 runs down, only 1 out right now here in the top of the 7th, and they have runners at the corners.
Smith comes set to Vradenburg. Slider misses well outside. Lefty on lefty matchup here. Mentioned that it's a lefty dominant lineup for MSU. They begin with 4 lefties and then switch on and off righty lefty throughout the rest of the order. Bradenburg 6'7", over 220. 1-0 pitch, misses low and inside. Tough appearance a couple days ago for Angelo Smith. Did not complete an out. 2 walks, 2 earned runs. Breaking ball. Oh, that's a nice pitch. Slithered through the strike zone, right through the front door of Vradenburg. It's 2-1.
Yeah, that was very nice right there. Gonna need more of it, though.
I mean, those games against Maryland this weekend, Neal, they just were not even close. Besides the first one, 8-7. Breaking ball just off the plate. Oh, man. Then the second game was 20-6. The final game, 15-10. Most runs allowed in a series this season for the Wolverines, 43 total. But the offense really wasn't bad, 23 runs scored. They were swept by the Dirty Terps in College Park, the 3-1. Breaking ball past Marty at first base. That's a tough play. Elliott ranges over. Runner advances to second. Brecker is to third. And all of a sudden, it's a 1-run ball game. 9-8 here in the 7th with the go-ahead run 180 feet away.
And the Wolverines will, thought they were going to have an infield huddle, but maybe not. Angelo Smith, he's just got to calm down right now. You know, calm down. Just work with what you got. Runner at second and third.
Here comes Eric Bakich as the Wolverines more than likely will be going to the bullpen. That's typically the case when Eric Bakich makes his way out there. He will point down to the pen. Here comes Willie Weiss for the Wolverines. It's a 9-8 ball game. This game just got eerily close yet again from Ray Fisher Stadium. We'll be right back from WCBN Sports. Willie Weiss is being called on for the Wolverines from head coach Eric Bakich to replace Angelo Smith, the 6'3", 225-pound senior from the West Coast. Portland, Oregon is in to try and save the day for the Wolverines.
And Willie Weiss has one of the best opposing batting average percentages of Michigan pitchers, the third best of the pitching staff for the Wolverines at 258. He's had 25 innings pitched off of 18 appearances for an ERA of 6.75. He is a solid reliever, frankly, their best one of the guys that are really mainly classified as relievers. Weiss has gone the longest, given up the fewest amount of runs, and has the lowest batting average.
Runner on third is Brian Brecker. Runner on second, Brock Bradenburg. Pinch hitter for Michigan State is Christian Williams. First pitch low and outside. Slider misses badly from Willie Weiss. Williams bats .262, 2 homers on the season. RBIs, number 17 and 18 for him, are on the base paths right now. He replaces Zaid Walker, who was 0 for 3. There's strike one. Goes back to the slider, ramps it up 1 more mile an hour at 84, and gets called strike one. Christian Williams has started 23 games, now playing in game number 19. Fastball fouled back to the screen. Willie earned a win in the Friday game against Indiana a week and a half ago with 1 2/3 innings of 1-hit relief with a strikeout in that 8-4 win. There's the 1-2. Big strikeout. He got him looking.
Oh, yeah. That was nice.
That's a big time out from Willie Weiss. But now here comes Mitch Jebb, the top of the order for Michigan State.
Shortstop number 14, Mitch Jebb.
One more out to go here in the 7th inning for the Wolverines. You still want to hold on to that 1-run lead, obviously, so they'd love to just get out of here. You know, get Jebb out, head to the bottom of the 7th. Maybe your batters can get you an insurance run.
Not an easy out to get. First pitch to Jebb, high and outside. Although 1 for 3, really hard hit triple in the first inning off Jack White. He then walked in the second, popped out in the 4th, ground out in the 6th inning. The 1-0 pitch misses just below the strike zone. Maybe a full ball's width below the K zone today for home plate umpire Sal Giacomintonio. MSU 8 runs on 11 hits. Michigan 9 runs on 9 hits, and error tabbed to both clubs today. Well, that's a good sign from the Michigan bullpen as a pitch finds its way onto the infield grass.
That does not happen too often. That had to have been a bad pitch or something. I don't even know. I don't want to know.
And we won't ask about it. two balls, no strikes to Mitch Jebb.
Ooh.
Misses low and inside. That's a nice stop, though, by Casey Buckley. 3 balls, no strikes. If you're Eric Bakich, I'm just walking him. This is by far the most dangerous hitter in the Spartan order. And I mean, Trent Farquhar is not an easy out, but I'd take my chances with him over Mitch Jebb in this case. I would expect Willie to come nowhere close with the 3-0. Nowhere close. Ball 4.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that one. You know, you go up against Farquhar here, who hasn't been great today for MSU, and you know, you just try to get out here. I don't know, not too much else to say, frankly, at this point when the bases are loaded like this.
Michigan State has left at least 1 runner on in the last 3 innings. First pitch to Farquhar is a strike. He didn't really like that call from Giacomintonio behind home plate.
I like the pitch, though, from Weiss. I think you crowd him right here.
Little jam piece to the right side of the infield here.
I think so.
The 0-1.
Yeah.
Ah, there you go.
There you go.
0-2. Farquhar looks back towards Jake Boss, the manager for Michigan State, nods his head and steps back into the batter's box. Big pitch upcoming here.
And I don't think you go anywhere near the zone here. You go outside, preferably in, but.
The 0-2. Swung out and missed. That's a big-time strikeout from Willie Weiss. He Ks 2 Spartans in the top of the 7th inning to keep Michigan ahead by 1 run. It's stretch time here from Ann Arbor. 9-8. Wolverines on WCBN Sports. Bottom of the 7th inning. Clark Elliott to lead things off.
I was going to say, it looks like we have the Baltimore Orioles over here in front of us. Must be a Little League team here nearby, but.
You play Little League T-ball?
I did not know. I played up until 6th grade, though.
First pitch to Clark Elliott from Andrew Carson. Misses the strike zone. 9-8 Wolverines. So you never got to play for one of the MLB clubs when you were little?
No. Yeah, I was with the Lugnuts.
Oh, so
Lugnuts.
You played, okay.
Yeah, wrecking that ball.
Strike 1, 1-1. I had a 4-year tenure.
4-year contract.
I had 1 season with the Marlins. I was a Cub for a year, and then I was a Tiger for 2 years. 1-1 off the plate.
Which was the best team of those 3?
We won the championship as Cubs and went to the championship as Tigers the 2nd year, but we were far better the 2nd year. The Tigers just didn't play well in the championship.
Okay.
2-1 off the plate. 3 balls and a strike.
Sounds like a Michigan team.
Right.
Very good team getting the championship and then not getting it done. No shot at Michigan baseball, by the way. I wasn't even thinking Michigan baseball, but maybe a little bit, actually. I don't know.
3-1. Ball 4. 8 walks on the day now. The Michigan bats. Here comes Joe Stewart. And I'm sure the man on deck is nervous to get back into the batter's box. Matt Frye has been hit 3 times today, all by Dominic Pianto, and none of them even close to on purpose, as all 3 of them were breaking balls. But come on. Stewart squares to bunt,
Ooh.
gets it down. Beautiful bunt.
Whoa.
Stewart all the way to first. He's safe.
Wow.
Andrew Carson just did not decide whether or not he wanted to play that ball or not. He kind of stutter-stepped 2 different times. Michigan all of a sudden threatening here in the 8th. Or excuse me, the bottom of the 7th inning. My scorebook still trying to recover from that long first inning.
It seems like we've seen this, though, a little bit. If Clark Elliott gets walked, and then, you know, sometimes Joe Stewart gets a single right there, and they're both on base. But I feel like this is happening a lot. Let's see if Matt Frye can keep the streak going of hit by a pitch.
First pitch misses way outside. The batting average just sits still at 300 for Matt Frye after the first inning double, which scored Joe Stewart. 3 hit by pitch. This is his 5th plate appearance now. He's 1 for 1. Full shift on Matt Frye. And a bouncer foul. Did that get a piece of his foot? I think it did.
No, maybe. It was close though, yeah.
There is just a magnetic pulse from the baseball glowing off Matt Frye tonight. Graduate transfer from Davidson is going to need all the ice in the clubhouse following this one. The 1-1. Waited on it and fouled it away. Just waited a tad too much on the changeup from Carson.
Yeah, the pitches have been there for the Michigan hitters. They haven't been hitting them, you know. And I know that sounds so basic, but there's been quite a few left over the center of the plate, and they just haven't been able to hit them.
The 1-2, way off the plate.
And I'll echo what I said earlier of, you know, they have 9 runs right now, and yes, they had 9 runs in that first inning. I don't really think it's the hitters, frankly. I think it's been more of a situation of the Michigan State starting pitching just wasn't there. I mean, you kept saying the first inning, they just didn't have competitive pitches.
2-2 is a high bouncer. Tough play for the shortstop, Jeb. He jumps up, cannot make the play. No throw over to first, and that will load the bases with nobody gone for Jimmy Obertop.
And see, even that's right across the center of the plate. I know MSU got a little unlucky that just the bounces of that one, but I don't know. I don't think Michigan's hitters or batters have been too great today. It's been more of a situation of MSU's pitching woes, I guess to say. So Michigan's going to need to get it going. You have the bases loaded with 0 outs. This has to score at least 2 runs.
First pitch to Jimmy Obertop. Oh, way inside. You'll hear from the Michigan dugout. Wear it, kid.
So, have you seen that video of the Little League kid? He was at second base. He was screaming at his friend who was at the plate and didn't take he didn't take the pitch
for strike 1.
You see that or no?
No.
He like yelled at the kid, at the batter. He was like, "Let it hit you." One of the funniest videos I've seen. I don't know.
Bases are juiced for Jimmy Obertop. 9-8 Michigan.
Oh.
Takes ball 2. That one's just below the strike zone. Midweek rivalry game, Michigan State. Michigan looking to complete the season sweep with a little help from Jimmy Obertop here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Way outside, 3 balls, 1 strike. Andrew Carson's got to come to him. Obertop has 8 home runs, but the power has really come on as of late. And the home runs this guy hits are moonshots.
Yeah, but
Carson delivers one here. I'd expect a big swing from the Wolverine DH.
Ooh.
Strike 2, and that will draw boos from the Wolverine crowd. And you and I up in here maybe disagree just a tad.
I was just going to say that if I'm Obertop on that 3-1 count, I'm not swinging. He didn't there. Thought he was going to get the walk, but here we are with a full count.
Outside, Michigan gets some insurance from Jimmy Obertop, and I think that one was closer than the previous.
I'm kind of with you on that. I thought the 5th pitch was pretty high there, but regardless, same result.
Here's Tito Flores now. Here comes Jake Boss Jr., head coach for Michigan State. And before MSU will face off against Tito Flores, it looks like they're going to go to the bullpen. A new Michigan State arm incoming with the bases juiced. Nobody out in the bottom of the 7th. You're listening to Michigan Baseball on WCBN. Michigan State brings in their 4th arm of the game, but it's a tough situation for Kyle Bischoff, 6'2", 210-pound graduate student from Macomb. And the closer for Michigan State will have to face off against Tito Flores with the bases loaded here in the 7th.
And Kyle Bischoff, 3.44 ERA, 21 appearances on the season. He is their main closer with an interesting stance right here. 11 saves on the season and 36 2/3 innings pitched.
First pitch to Tito Flores, low and outside. No, you're right. Out of the stretch, he's kind of bent over Craig Kimbrell style, just doesn't hold the arm the same way, just kind of lets it hang loose, tucks that glove into the left armpit, stares in towards the catcher, Brian Brecker. Defense plays Flores pretty straight up, Farquhar almost behind second base. Outfielders playing closer into the infield than before. Line drive left side, that's a base hit for Flores. Frye is held up at third. Michigan, some more insurance here in the 7th, thanks to Tito.
And that's huge for the Wolverines, up 3 now as we approach the 9th, or we approach the 8th inning. I mean, that's big, and there's still 0 outs on the board in this inning, and you have the bases just continuously loaded. Wolverines got to just keep trying to score these runs. I think for Michigan State, I was going to say, to bring Bischoff in the 7th inning here, I think it was their hand kind of being forced. With the bases being loaded, they had 0 outs. I think they were just hoping to get 3 quick outs, or worst case, 1 run.
1-0 is slapped foul left side. And if that gets into the corner, that's big time trouble, because Casey Mays, the left fielder, is playing towards the angle out in left. I'll tell you what, that Spartan defense in the 1st inning was playing almost all at the warning track on the Michigan bats, but now you can see the American flag in left center is standing completely still as Bertram takes strike 2. He's frustrated with that call from Giacomo Antonio.
Yeah, I think the pop and the juice hasn't really been there for Michigan. All of their hits, frankly, have really just been singles pretty much today. I mean, they only have 12 hits, by the way, but 11 runs. They've had a lot of walks. Matt Frye will tell you a lot of hit by pitches.
The 0-2, and they're way inside, almost got a piece of
I
Riley
thought it
Bertram.
did get him. Man.
9 total free passes given from Michigan State. Five hit by pitch. Bertram is 2 for 3. Here's the 1-2 pitch, fouled away. Nice fight there from Riley Bertram. Runner on third is Matt Frye. The runner on second base is the DH Jimmy Obertop, and Tito Flores is over at first after he delivered his 2nd RBI of the night. Singled home a run in the 1st inning, now singles home Joe Stewart in the bottom of the 7th. The 1-2. Bouncing ball right side. First baseman Vradenburg comes home. Brecker throws to first, and he is out. Bertram comes up a bit gingerly at first, maybe just frustrated.
I think so. I don't think he got hit by that throw, and that was, by the way, a hell of a throw by Brecker, because if you notice, he had to stop and locate where he was going to throw that, and it's just such a tough throw as an infielder when you're hitting another base, because you always have the batters running through, and so Brecker had to stop, figure out where he was going to locate that ball or throw that ball, and then the first baseman Bradenburg was able to make the catch, and they get 2 outs.
First pitch to Ted Burton, way up and inside. Runners on 2nd and 3rd now. And if you are Kyle Bischoff and Jake Boss is the head man of Michigan State, I think you would take this. Just 1 run allowed since Bischoff came in. Of course, he would have liked to retire Flores. But the old 3-2-3 double play. 1-0 is popped up towards Farquhar. The second baseman ranges towards short, makes the catch. And that's a nice appearance, though, from Kyle Bischoff out of the bullpen to stop the bleeding for Michigan State. It's an 11-8 lead for the Wolverines as we head to the top of the 8th inning from Ray Fisher Stadium. You're listening to Michigan Baseball on WCBN FM, Ann Arbor. 3, 4, and 5 for Michigan State here in the top of the 8th inning. As we're nearing 3 hours since first pitch. Of course, that first inning took 45 minutes to complete, but Frank Mays and Kark for MSU against Willie Weiss for the Maize and Blue. First pitch from Weiss called strike 1. Willie entered in the 7th inning with just a single out. Struck out Christian Williams, walked Mitch Jebb, and then struck out Trent Farquhar just off the plate. Casey Buckley was disappointed with that call from Sal Giacomantonio. A ball and a strike now to Jack Frank. 1-1. It looked like the same spot.
Yeah.
Called for a strike. Frank is 2 for 2. Hit by a pitch, walk, homer, double. 1-2 pitch, way outside. Michigan State scored 4 runs in the first, 1 in the 3rd, 2 in the 5th, and then 1 in the 7th inning. 2-2. Sharp ground ball foul. Michigan scored 9 runs in the first and 2 in the 7th. That brings us to an 11-8 score from Ann Arbor.
Wolverines are going to need a great performance once again out of Weiss here in this 8th inning. He looked great in the 7th inning. Got that great last out for the Wolverines, but he's going to need to be big time here in the 8th because you know they want to have at least a 2-3 run advantage.
Oh my goodness. If that was a changeup, it almost came into the broadcast booth.
Do you think that's where that one wild pitch came from earlier that was on the field? Was it Matt? Was it Willie Weiss?
Oh goodness. Hopefully the 3-2 is closer.
And
Got
it
him
is.
swinging. Oh yeah, fouled right into the glove of Casey Buckley.
What a response after that one.
The left fielder, number 33, Casey Mays.
I have full doubts that we'll see Noah Renard in the 9th inning for Michigan, although that would be nice to close this one out. I'm sure they're going to save him for the series against Rutgers this weekend. First pitch to Mays, swung on and missed. Willie Weiss, he looks like he's in his zone now after that last pitch. He got the ball and went right back to the mound. Sets at the letters, stares in, delivers home, driving with that left foot. Big wave and a miss. He's in his zone.
Yeah. And you can tell when a pitcher is just, you know, in that rhythm, in that zone, like you said, because they want the ball back as quick as possible. And they'll take these pitches quick like he is right here.
The 0-2 is a bouncing ball towards second. Tough play. Burton throws to Weiss at first, and they got him.
Great cover by Willie Weiss right there. It was
Not
one
sure
of those,
what Jake Marty was doing over at first base.
It was one of those tough ones where the first baseman isn't really sure, and Marty decides to just run through that. And so Weiss had to cover the bag right there and was able to do that and get the out.
Yes, Marty was playing way off first base. Here's Dylan Kark. He's 0 for 4 today. Ball 1 bounces in front of Casey Buckley. .255 batting average, 3 homers for Dylan Kark. Oh man, he blew it right by him, 1-1.
Willie has drawn some swings and misses, and the Spartans are really hacking at it right now. They're trying to go deep with this.
I'd come right back with it. The 1-1.
Looked like he did.
Yep, same exact spot, but this time it was looking.
Virtually the exact same speed, too, at 83. Wow.
The 1-2 from Willie Weiss. Got him swinging. 2 strikeouts in the inning and 4 overall on 6 batters faced for Willie Weiss. Let's head to the bottom of the 8th inning. Michigan holding a 3-run lead from Ann Arbor on WCBN Sports. Bottom of the 8th inning, Michigan looking for a bit more insurance. They tabbed on 2 in the 7th, and they'll have to do it against a new Spartan on the mound. Number 6, Wyatt Rush, 6'3", 210 pounds. From Grand Ledge, Michigan, the redshirt junior is one of 18 Michiganders on this MSU roster, Neil.
And we'll see if Wyatt Rush can go for the last 2 innings here. He usually pitches for more than 1 inning on 19 appearances, 40.1 innings pitched, and a 4.24 ERA.
Ball 1 to Jake Marty below the strike zone. Let's hope he doesn't have to throw for 2 innings. And Michigan closes this thing out in the 9th. 1-0 pitch to Marty, swung on and missed. High cheddar from Wyatt Rush. Tell you what, that pitch just looks so good until it's into the mid of the catcher. It's coming in faster than you think. Here's the 1-1. Just off the plate. That looked like a really nice pitch from Wyatt Rush.
Yeah, the left side of the zone for the ump today has been a little sketchy. Michigan's had a few that we thought were strikes that were called balls, but
2-1 misses inside. And that was low and inside, though. That wasn't really all that close as compared to the last one.
yeah.
Now, Rush did pitch an inning against Iowa this past weekend. Allowed 1 hit, 2 earned runs. He also walked 1 and hit a batter. Big swing and a miss from Jake Marty. Count is now full at 3-2. But the performance before that against Western Michigan on the 11th was really good. 3 innings, walked just 1, 2 hits, 1 earned run. High Baltimore chop towards short. Mitch Jebb's got to throw quick. A nice scoop over at first base by Vradenburg. And Marty's gone.
Yeah, quick throw by Jebb. It was one of those toughies that just bounces so high that Michigan got away with Matt Frye earlier in, I believe, the 7th inning. This time, the Spartans get the out, though. And like you said, good scoop by Vradenburg. And listen, Michigan State's not going to be messing around. They want a 1-2-3 inning, get to the 9th, and hope your batters can extend this game.
Casey Buckley, strike 1. Well, if you're ever skeptical about the top of the 9th inning, as the home team and as a home fan, Michigan would potentially have 2, 3, and 4 if MSU were to tie it in the 9th. Buckley looks at strike 2. He doesn't like the call. Now it seems like that strike zone is expanding up a little bit for Sal Giacomantonio. It's kind of slimmed out a little bit, but it's expanded up.
Yeah.
Getting a couple calls, and that's against the Wolverine catcher, who's been the battery mate of the umpire today. Little breaking ball right over the head of Wyatt Rush. Tough backhanded play by Farquhar. Makes a nice throw to first to take out Casey Buckley. If Wyatt Rush was a 1/4 of an inch taller, he's making that play.
Yeah. Good play, though, still by Trent Farquhar. I mean, it's a much tougher throw than it looks. Where you're falling so far away from the first base bag that, like, it's so hard to get the power on that thing to beat the runner. And it's also so hard to, really locate it and throw it in the place that you really want it to go.
Takes a lot of arm strength, lots of practice.
Yeah.
Clark Elliott, ball 1, way above the strike zone.
I think it's about time for a solo shot from Clark Elliott right here.
And that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Put him in the double digits on the season. Certainly got the power to do so.
Tell you what, if he took that one, I would have been clipping this video.
At 69 miles an hour.
Man.
Just falls into the strike zone. Now, Clark Elliott was 6 of 14 in the series against MSU. In the Friday game, went 4 of 5 with 3 home runs and 8 RBIs. Takes strike 2. Low inside corner of the strike zone. That Friday game was a spectacle from Jackson Field, the home of the Lansing Lugnuts. Solo home run to lead off the game, then later in the first inning hit a grand slam. The 1-2, fouled away left side back towards Yost.
He did take a swing at that one.
Timing's getting there for Clark Elliott. Although he's walked in his last 2 at-bats and hit a really hard double in the first inning, the second half of that first inning. To cut it up into halves, it was so long. 1-2, high cheddar. Fastball got him on strikes. Just the 4th team strikeout for Michigan State. Let's head to the 9th inning, last chance for the Spartan Bats, as Michigan and Willie Weiss will look to close things out from Ann Arbor. Three outs to get for the Wolverines. Here in the top of the 9th inning, it'll be Peter On, Brian Brecker, and Brock Vradenburg. 6, 7, 8 for Jake Boss's Michigan State crew, who sits currently at 23 and 27. Michigan at 25 and 24. They want a little cushion above that 500 mark, I'll tell you that.
Willie Weiss back at it. He's already pitched for an inning and 2/3.
Spectacular stuff.
Yeah, he's been big time.
First pitch to Peter On. Misses the strike zone. Michigan leads 11-8. They also lead in hits 12-11. Weiss working from the stretch in the first base side of the rubber. Swung on and missed, strike 1. Michigan has dropped 6 of their last 7 games. In the series this past weekend against Maryland, the most runs allowed in a 3-game series with 43. Allowed another 8 here today. Fastball gets way away from Willie Weiss. 2 balls and a strike. A 9th inning wave from Ray Fisher Stadium and a nice crowd. Lights are fully on, shadows not playing a role. 2-1 pitch. Off the plate.
Yeah, that was definitely a ball there, but here we go, 3-1. Do you swing if you're Peter On?
It's got to be a nice pitch.
Yeah. I think I probably wouldn't, to be honest.
3-1
Yeah,
pitch.
there you go.
Missed inside. And that's a slow walk to first base for Peter On.
At first, I thought he didn't know he got walked there, but well, here we go. Spartans got what they wanted out of that.
To lead off walk for Peter On. Here comes Brian Brecker. Not a ton of power off the bat of the Spartan catcher. Believe it or not, wearing a Spartan uniform, actually a close friend of mine, Brian Brecker. 2 for 3 here today. Ball 1 in the dirt. Spent last year in the Northwoods League up in Duluth, Minnesota. Played for the Duluth Huskies and Coach Marcus Pointer. Good relationship with Brian, although a green and white guy. Nice stop by Casey Buckley behind the plate. Had to leave his crouch and still played it on a forehand. 2 balls and not a strike to Brian Brecker.
And Brecker, you just got to get on base. You're up in the count 2-0. I think you maybe take a hack at it right here.
There's strike 1. And if you're going to swing at a pitch, that's probably the one to swing at, right down Broadway at 82.5 miles an hour.
Yeah, I want to see Weiss go inside here.
2-1. He goes inside. Bouncing ball towards Frye at third. Throws to second base. Scooped up at second by Ted Burton. What a play by the Wolverine second baseman. That's a way to stay composed if you're Ted Burton. Matt Frye disappointed in himself with the throw to second. Nonetheless, it retires the leadoff runner, Peter Ahn, and Brecker will be at first base.
Yep, and that's what you wanted. Played him inside. They played it for the double play. Didn't work out, unfortunately, because of the throw. But still, you got the out. Leading runner for the Spartans is still at first base, so just 2 to go now.
Coach Sykes, the third base coach for MSU, will take a moment to chat with Brock Vradenburg before he takes the plate with 1 gone here in the 9th. Not a ton of speed for Brian Brecker, also dealing with a knee injury over at first base. Kind of just waiting for the season to end before a full evaluation on the leg of Brecker. First pitch to Vradenburg, bounced towards short. Stepping on second is Bertram. Michigan completes the season sweep of Michigan State, winning this one 11-8 on Tuesday afternoon. That's a big time win for the Wolverines, I'll tell you.
Go Big Blue. Just kidding. I'm not one to say Big Blue, but big time win for Michigan. They get to 11-11 in conference. They will now be fighting with the Penn State Nittany Lions for the 5 seed in the tournament. And by the way, I know this is just a 1-game homestand, but maybe get used to Michigan State because these two could very well meet up in the first round of the Big Ten tournament. The Spartans will fall to 7-15 in conference, and they are currently the 12 seed. So Michigan, after today, will likely move up, I believe, to the 5 seed. They could be in the 5-12 matchup, could possibly end up in the 6-11. We'll see. So these two teams, they know each other very well 4 times this season, but Michigan, of course, would love to play these guys again. They've just had their number now. All 4 wins for Michigan.
Michigan completes the season sweep of Michigan State. Avery Goldensoft gets his first decision in his collegiate career. He's 1-0. Aiden Arball drops to 1-1. He gets the loss today. And Willie Weiss gets his 3rd save. He was spectacular out of the bullpen for the Wolverines. But really, Neal, it was a story of a couple of guys at the plate for Michigan. Multi-hit games for batters 2 through 6 in the order. Do you really even have a player of the game, or is this more of a team effort?
Yeah, I think this was fully a team effort. You know what? I think for the batting, I think it's fully a team effort. For the pitching, I think Willie Weiss gets the player of the game.
Closing the door.
Yeah, I think he did a fantastic job. The 7th inning, I was extremely impressed with what he did. He had runners in scoring position everywhere, and he was able to just get out of it. In the 8th inning, 1-2-3 inning. I mean, he was fantastic, and then in the 9th, got the job done. It might not have been too pretty, but he got the job done, and that's all you need of a reliever, frankly. And Michigan gets out of here, stays in Ann Arbor for the Rutgers homestead, but they'll be able to do it now at 26-24, I think mainly in part due to Willie Weiss.
Michigan continues to try and fight their way into the Big Ten tournament 2 weekends from now, and they'll face off against Rutgers. Come join us at the ballpark or stay along with WCBN Sports from the Thursday through Saturday series against the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Final thoughts, Neal?
I'm just hoping to see some power hitting from this team from now on, because today we didn't see it. That's been a little bit of an issue recently in terms of, you know, guys like Clark Elliott, John Stewart, Matt Frye. Michigan's got to be, or Joe Stewart, excuse me, got to be looking for those guys to start going the distance a little bit. They had 4 extra base hits today, which isn't bad by any means, but when you score 11 runs, that maybe shows that it was more of a pitcher struggles of the opposing team than your own hitting. And that was certainly the case for Aiden Arball in the 1st inning. It was the case for some of the relievers that came in for Michigan State the rest of the way. But listen, it wasn't pretty. Michigan got the job done, though, and that's all you can ask of today. It's about building momentum, and I think they'll be sitting relatively good for the Big Ten tournament to possibly make a run. Who knows?
Michigan wins 11-8 over Michigan State and completes the season sweep of Old Sparty. here from Ann Arbor and Ray Fisher Stadium. Signing off from WCBN Sports, my name is Zach Linfield. Thanks Neal Sinha for being an awesome color guy here today. Final score once again, 11-8. Signing off from Zach Linfield. Go Blue, and have a good night, Ann Arbor. Beautiful.